Today I will share with you some life-changing philosophy. Before we start, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Also, comment where are you watching from and at what time you are watching. Have a nice sleep. Did you know that the choices you make today can add or subtract years from your life? This idea traces back to ancient Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to embrace life's chaos with wisdom and make choices that enhance our well-being. You might not think much of it when you decide to stay up late to finish just one more episode or scroll through your phone, but each night of insufficient sleep is quietly stealing a little more from you than just time. It's compromising your health, vitality, and even your ability to think clearly. In the realm of Stoicism, Seneca warned about overindulging in the unnecessary at the expense of our health and peace of mind, and sleep, undeniably, is one of the pillars of both. When we cut corners on sleep, we're not just facing a groggy morning, we're impacting our body's ability to regenerate. Sleep is that golden chain that ties our health and our bodies together. It's the prime time when our body engages in repairing cells, flushing out toxins from the brain and solidifying memories. Missing out on adequate sleep disrupts these processes, accelerating our aging and even impacting our metabolism and mood. Consider this. Ongoing research in neurology shows that during sleep, our brain essentially cleans house. It removes toxins that accumulate throughout the day, akin to how the ancient Stoics believed in cleansing the soul of unnecessary fears and desires to achieve clarity and peace. Without enough sleep, we're letting those toxins build up night after night, which can lead to long-term detriments in cognitive functions and overall health. Life often feels like a high-speed chase that we didn't sign up for. With stress as the relentless driver pushing us to our limit, it's easy to overlook how this invisible pressure can accumulate and sculpt our daily existence, not just emotionally but physically, accelerating our aging process. Stoic philosophy, particularly the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, reminds us that while we cannot control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. And when it comes to stress, our response could mean the difference between thriving and merely surviving. Stress, in its essence, is your body's call to arms, the fight-or-flight response that was crucial for our ancestors' survival. But in our modern world, this response can become chronic, triggered not by life-threatening dangers, but by daily demands and disruptions. When we allow this state to become our status quo, it starts chipping away at our biological health, shortening those crucial telomeres, protective caps at the ends of our chromosomes that keep our DNA stable, and thus directly impact our longevity. The Stoics taught that peace comes from within, suggesting that we can build resilience to stress through perspective and practice. They weren't just being poetic. Modern science backs this up, showing that meditation, controlled breathing, and mindfulness are effective tools for reducing stress. These practices help recalibrate our physiological responses and can significantly lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone that, when left unchecked, wreaks havoc on our bodies, contributing to everything from inflammation to weakened immune systems. It's tempting to reach for that quick meal solution after a long, exhausting day. Fast food takeouts or those packaged meals that only need a few minutes in the microwave. We often eat not just with our stomachs but with our eyes and schedules, forgetting that every morsel we consume builds or degrades our health. Stoic philosophy, particularly its emphasis on moderation and mindfulness, offers profound guidance on this topic. Just as Seneca advised against filling one's life with unnecessary pursuits, we should avoid filling our bodies with low-nutrient, high-calorie foods that don't serve our health. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish your body and soul, echoing the Stoic principle of purposeful living. Consider the profound impact of food on your body's functions. Cells regenerate, energies are replenished, and mental acuity is maintained based on the quality of your nutrition. Poor eating habits can lead to a cascade of health issues, from increased inflammation and reduced ability to fight off diseases to more visible signs of aging and decreased energy levels. Eating well, in contrast, can support longer telomeres, which are essential components in the fight against the biological aging process. The Stoics understood the value of self-discipline and control, and applying these to our diet can transform our health. Incorporating a balance of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins isn't just about adhering to dietary guidelines. It's about respecting your body's inherent worth and potential. This approach aligns with the Stoic ideal of aligning actions with nature and reason. By choosing meals that are as close to their natural state as possible, we honor our body's natural design, which thrives on whole, unprocessed foods. You might find it surprising to hear that your couch, often a haven of comfort after a long day, could be one of your biggest adversaries in maintaining a healthy lifestyle. It's so easy to collapse into its welcoming embrace and stay there, binging the latest series or scrolling endlessly through our phones. But this very comfort can lead to a sedentary lifestyle, which is silently but steadily taking a toll on our health. The Stoics often emphasized the importance of physical activity as part of a balanced life. They understood that a sound mind resides in a sound body, and that neglecting physical health could hinder one's ability to practice virtues like discipline and self-control. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic himself and a Roman emperor, despite his extensive duties, made it a point to incorporate physical exercise into his daily routine, understanding its critical role in maintaining not only physical but also mental strength. In today's world, a sedentary lifestyle has become more prevalent due to technological advances that encourage us to stay stationary. What we often don't realize is that by not moving, we're robbing our body of its basic need for physical exertion, which can result in a variety of health issues, from cardiovascular diseases to a decline in mental health. Physical inactivity slows down our metabolism, reduces the effectiveness of blood circulation, and can lead to muscle and joint issues, making us age faster, physically and mentally. Integrating movement into our daily routine is not just about avoiding health problems, it's about enhancing our quality of life. The Stoics would advise us to challenge our body's limits and capabilities as a form of self-improvement, and to live in accordance with nature, which inherently involves movement. You don't need to become a marathon runner overnight or hit the gym for hours every day. Simple, consistent activities like taking a walk during lunch breaks, using stairs instead of elevators, standing up and stretching every hour during long periods of sitting, or engaging in hobbies that require physical movement can make a profound difference. Think about the last time you really quenched your thirst with a refreshing glass of water. It feels revitalizing, doesn't it? Often, we underestimate the power of staying hydrated, ignoring our body's cries for water until we feel the undeniable signs of thirst. Yet, maintaining adequate hydration is not just about quelling thirst. It's a fundamental aspect of health that too many of us overlook, much to our detriment. Drawing from Stoic philosophy, which teaches the importance of attending to our natural needs with simplicity and purpose, staying hydrated aligns perfectly with living a life in harmony with nature. Seneca, one of the most notable Stoics, emphasized the need for balance and argued against indulgence, excess, or deficiency, including in our diet and basic care of our bodies. Water, the most natural beverage, is crucial for maintaining this balance, supporting every cellular process in our body. Dehydration is a subtle thief. It slowly undermines our health, impacting everything from cognitive function and energy levels to skin health and digestion. Each cell in our body requires water to function optimally. Without adequate water, our cells start to shrivel, hampering their ability to generate energy and leading to premature aging and decreased bodily function. The skin, which is our largest organ, visibly reflects our hydration levels. Adequate water intake helps maintain its elasticity and vibrancy. Warding off signs of aging, like wrinkles and dryness, a golden tan might be seen as a hallmark of health and vitality, symbolizing leisurely days spent outdoors or on vacation. However, it's worth considering the Stoic perspective that appearances can be deceptive, and what seems beneficial on the surface may carry hidden risks. The sun, as life-giving and essential as it is, can be a double-edged sword when it comes to our health, particularly when we indulge in it without moderation or protection. The Stoics, always advocates for living in harmony with nature, would surely have appreciated the sun's vital role. Yet they would also have been the first to remind us of the importance of self-control and rational behavior. Just as they would counsel moderation in all things, they would likely advise us to enjoy the sun's embrace wisely. Excessive sun exposure can lead to premature aging of the skin, not to mention more serious health risks like skin cancer. The UV rays that make those beach days so memorable are the same ones that can cause damage to the DNA in our skin cells, leading to accelerated skin aging and increased health risks. When we expose ourselves to the sun without adequate protection, we're not just risking a painful sunburn. UV radiation penetrates deep into the skin and disrupts the normal process of skin cell growth. Over time, this leads to changes in skin texture, loss of elasticity, and the formation of wrinkles and sunspots. It's almost paradoxical how a habit such as smoking, often started under the guise of enhancing social interactions or alleviating stress, can so drastically reduce both the quality and duration of one's life. The momentary pleasure of a cigarette can have lasting negative impacts, something that, from a Stoic perspective, would be seen as a clear divergence from living a life based on rational choices and good health. The Stoics taught us the importance of self-mastery and control over one's impulses and desires. Smoking, with its addictive nature and harmful consequences, is a prime example of what happens when short-term desires override long-term well-being. Every puff of a cigarette introduces thousands of chemicals into the body, including nicotine, which is highly addictive and toxic. It's not just the lungs that are affected. Smoking impacts nearly every organ in the body, contributing to a variety of diseases and chronically undermining one's health. From a Stoic standpoint, engaging in an activity that knowingly damages one's body contradicts the principle of living according to nature. The body's nature is to heal and maintain itself, but smoking impedes this natural ability, causing harm that is entirely preventable. The damage begins with diminished lung capacity and can extend to heart disease, stroke, and multiple types of cancer, not to mention the cosmetic effects such as premature aging of the skin and staining of teeth. Quitting smoking is not just about avoiding negative outcomes. It's a profound way to practice Stoic virtues like discipline and foresight, actively choosing a healthier path not only for yourself but also setting an example for those around you. While a glass of wine or a pint of beer might be how many of us choose to unwind after a long day, there's a fine line between moderate enjoyment and excess that can easily be crossed. This is particularly poignant when considering the Stoic emphasis on moderation and self-control, virtues that guide us to make decisions that align with our long-term well-being rather than immediate gratification. The Stoics were advocates for living a life that was free from the control of desires and passions, and this certainly extends to how we might choose to engage with alcohol. Excessive drinking not only clouds judgment in the moment, but also has far-reaching effects on our health. Alcohol is a hepatotoxin, which means it specifically damages the liver, an organ essential to detoxifying our body. Over time, this can lead to liver diseases such as cirrhosis, which dramatically shortens a person's life expectancy and quality. Moreover, alcohol affects nearly every system in the body. It can disrupt sleep patterns, leading to less restorative sleep, which in turn affects cognitive functions and overall physical health. It can also lead to an increase in blood pressure and contribute to the development of heart disease. On a cellular level, excessive alcohol consumption accelerates aging by impacting the length of telomeres, protective caps on our chromosomes that are linked to our lifespan. Each binge drinking session can actually shorten these caps, effectively speeding up the aging process. From a Stoic perspective, indulging in too much alcohol might be seen as surrendering to external pleasures that compromise our inner equilibrium and health, the very opposites of Stoic ideals. Stoicism teaches us to find joy and contentment in our internal states and rational thinking, not from external substances. It's often easy to overlook how integral social connections are to our well-being, especially in a world that increasingly values independence and self-sufficiency. Yet, in the hustle of striving to be self-reliant, we might inadvertently isolate ourselves, missing out on the profound benefits that come from regular social interactions. This concept aligns closely with Stoic principles, which, while often misinterpreted as promoting a solitary life, actually encourage forming meaningful relationships to enhance personal growth and emotional resilience. The Stoics believed in the power of community and the importance of supporting others as a way of cultivating virtue. Seneca, for example, wrote extensively about the benefits of friendship and social obligations, suggesting that true support between friends strengthens one's character and fortifies one against life's adversities. In contrast, isolation can lead to loneliness, which has been shown in numerous studies to increase the risk of mortality as much as smoking or obesity. It's not just about feeling alone, it's about the tangible impact that lack of social interaction can have on our physical and mental health. Socializing helps to ward off the cognitive decline associated with aging, boosts mood through the release of neurotransmitters like serotonin, and strengthens our immune system. It's as if our bodies are designed to interact, thriving on the shared experiences that help regulate our emotions and improve our psychological resilience. From a Stoic viewpoint, neglecting this aspect of our nature might be seen as ignoring the very essence of what it means to live a good life. When we drift through days, weeks, and even years without a clear direction or purpose, it can often feel like we're merely existing rather than truly living. This lack of purpose isn't just a philosophical dilemma. It affects our everyday happiness and overall well-being. The Stoics, wise as they were, believed fervently in living with intent and purpose. They saw this as essential not only to personal fulfillment, but also to contributing effectively to society. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the importance of acting with a clear and honorable purpose, emphasizing that the quality of one's life improves dramatically when one's actions are aligned with well-considered goals and principles. Living without a clear purpose can lead to a form of existential stagnation, where time feels like it's slipping by unproductively. This can sap one's enthusiasm for life, leading to feelings of listlessness and dissatisfaction. The Stoics would argue that without a guiding purpose, it's easy to fall prey to petty annoyances and distractions that can dominate our thoughts and emotions. Purpose acts like a compass, guiding us through life's challenges with focus and resilience. It gives us a reason to rise each morning and face the day with vigor and determination. Having a sense of purpose is also linked to numerous health benefits, including better mental health, lower levels of stress, and even a longer lifespan. It contributes to our ability to adapt to change and overcome adversity. Just as a ship without a rudder is left to the mercy of the seas, a life without purpose is vulnerable to the whims of fortune. The Stoics understood this well and recommended that we define our values and align our actions accordingly. Many of us have a tendency to put off medical checkups, especially when we're feeling well. It's easy to brush these appointments aside, viewing them as unnecessary time away from our daily tasks or commitments. However, much like the Stoics advocated for a rational and proactive approach to life's challenges, prioritizing preventive healthcare can be seen as an exercise in wisdom and self-respect. Just as a Stoic would inspect their thoughts and behaviors regularly to align with their virtues, we too should inspect our physical health regularly to prevent potential issues from escalating. The Stoic philosophy teaches the importance of maintaining control over the things we can influence, and our health certainly falls within that realm. Regular medical checkups serve as a preventive measure, a way to catch potential health issues before they develop into serious problems. It's about respecting our body's needs and responding to them thoughtfully. This approach not only helps in maintaining our health, but also exemplifies the Stoic ideal of not yielding to negligence or ignorance. Skipping these checkups can often lead to a false sense of security. Without them, we might not be aware of the changes occurring in our bodies. Changes that, if caught early, could be addressed more easily and with better outcomes. Conditions like hypertension, diabetes, and many cancers can develop quietly, without obvious symptoms. By the time symptoms do appear, these conditions can be significantly more difficult to manage. In this digital age, it's all too easy to find ourselves glued to screens, whether it's for work or leisure. While technology certainly brings countless benefits, including connecting us with others and providing vast resources for learning, there's a downside that we often overlook. Spending too much time in front of screens can subtly erode our health and well-being, impacting everything from our sleep patterns to our mental clarity. The Stoics, ancient philosophers who valued discipline and moderation, would likely caution us against allowing any one tool, such as our digital devices, to dominate our lives. They taught the importance of maintaining a balanced life, one that includes physical activity, social interactions, and time for reflection, all of which can be compromised by excessive screen time. Just as they would advise against overindulgence in any pleasure, they would recommend we use technology wisely, ensuring it serves us without becoming our master. When we spend excessive time staring at screens, we often sacrifice physical health, mental space, and valuable time that could be spent engaging with the real world. This can lead to a host of issues, such as digital eye strain, poor posture, and disrupted sleep, as the blue light emitted by screens can interfere with our natural sleep cycles. More subtly, heavy screen use can also lead to a feeling of disconnection from our immediate environment and the people around us, contributing to feelings of isolation or loneliness. It might come as a surprise to think of laughter and fun as essential elements of a well-rounded, healthy life, especially from a philosophical standpoint like Stoicism, which is often misunderstood as austere or somber. However, the Stoics, including the likes of Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, emphasized the importance of joy and the role of positive emotions in fostering resilience against life's hardships. They recognized that laughter is not frivolous, it strengthens the spirit and fortifies us against the trials of life. In our modern lives, the hustle of daily responsibilities can sometimes make us forget the value of taking a moment to just laugh and enjoy simple pleasures. Laughter has been shown to have numerous health benefits. It can boost the immune system, decrease stress hormones, and increase endorphins, those chemicals in the brain that are known for their feel-good factor. Moreover, laughter enhances our intake of oxygen-rich air, stimulates the heart, lungs, and muscles, and increases the endorphins released by our brain, promoting an overall sense of well-being. From a Stoic viewpoint, neglecting the lighter side of life could be seen as neglecting a part of our human nature that is essential for our overall harmony and balance. Stoics believed in embracing all facets of human experience with wisdom and clarity, including the joyful ones. They would advocate for a life that does not shun laughter but welcomes it as a necessary ingredient for a soul well-equipped to handle life's vicissitudes. In the wise words of Seneca, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. What if I told you that in just 7 days you could become a completely different person? Not just a slightly improved version of yourself, but someone so transformed that even your closest friends and family would have to take a second look. This isn't some gimmick. This is a disciplined, calculated, and relentless approach to reinventing yourself from the inside out. You don't need years to change. You don't need to wait for the right time. All you need is 1 week, 7 days of absolute commitment to step into a new identity that commands respect, discipline, and purpose. It's about dismantling the patterns that have held you back and forging the habits that create the person you were always meant to be. It's about choosing your future instead of passively waiting for it to happen. Understand this. People who make drastic changes don't wait for a perfect moment. They don't sit around hoping things will get easier. They seize the now. They realize that the version of themselves they dream of becoming isn't waiting for them in the distant future. It's built today, in this very moment. Transformation doesn't happen slowly over years. It happens in an instant. The moment you decide and follow it with unrelenting action. When this week is over, you will not be the same. Your mind, your body, your habits, they will shift to match the highest version of yourself. If you've ever wished for a reset button, this is it. But there's no room for hesitation, no half measures, no excuses. So if you're ready to stop playing small, to stop waiting for change, and to finally take full control of your future, listen closely. Your transformation begins now. It all starts with one decision: to stop lying to yourself. to stop pretending that everything is fine when deep down you know you've been playing small. The hardest thing to do isn't changing your life, it's admitting that you need to change, that the way you've been operating, the habits, the mindset, the distractions, isn't getting you anywhere. That's the real battle, and today you face it head on. The Stoics had a practice of radical self-honesty. They believed that if you wanted to master life, you had to first master yourself. Seneca once wrote, "A consciousness of wrongdoing is the first step to salvation." Think about that. Most people never take that first step because it's uncomfortable. It's easier to blame the world, the economy, other people. But if you keep blaming everything outside of you, you stay powerless. The moment you take full responsibility, when you stop making excuses and start owning your actions, that's the moment your transformation truly begins. So today, you're going to do something that most people never do. You're going to take a brutally honest inventory of your life. And I mean brutal. No sugarcoating, no justifications. Grab a notebook, open your phone's notes app, whatever works. But write this down. What habits are holding you back? What patterns keep repeating in your life that you know are destructive? Where are you wasting time? What fears have kept you from taking action? What are you tolerating that you should have cut out a long time ago? If this exercise makes you uncomfortable, good. That means you're finally seeing the truth. And now, here's the hardest part. You have to let go of the old you, the version of yourself that made excuses, the one that procrastinated, the one that allowed bad habits to take control. That version has to die today. Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." What he meant was that real death isn't the end of life. It's the refusal to truly live while you're here. And if you don't confront the parts of yourself that are keeping you stuck, you will stay exactly where you are, watching life pass you by. So how do you do this? You need a symbolic act, something to mark this as the official moment you left your old self behind. Take that list you wrote, the habits, the fears, the excuses, and destroy it. Burn it, rip it up, throw it away, whatever it takes to physically commit to the change. The Stoics believed in the power of symbolic rituals to reinforce decisions. They knew that the mind needs proof, evidence that a change has begun. This act is your proof, and let me be clear, the old you will try to come back. In moments of doubt when things get tough, your mind will try to pull you back into your comfort zone. That's why every time an old habit resurfaces, you remind yourself, that's not me anymore. You don't negotiate. You don't entertain the thought. You shut it down. Because the only way to truly change is to burn the bridge to your past self, so there is no way back. Your habits are either working for you or against you. There's no in between. Every single day, the things you do, the routines you follow, and the choices you make are shaping your future. And most people, they don't even realize it. Now, I know restructuring your entire day might sound overwhelming, but trust me, it's about making those small, incremental changes that add up to huge transformations. Start with the morning. How you begin your day sets the tone for the rest of it. Think about it. If you start off rushed and chaotic, that's likely how you'll feel for hours afterward. But start calm, planned, and with purpose, and you maintain that control and focus throughout the day. So tomorrow, when you wake up, take a moment, just a few minutes, sit at the edge of your bed and, like Seneca, who advocated for quiet reflection to prepare for the day's challenges, reflect on what you want to achieve today. Not just the tasks, but the personal attributes you want to embody. Once you've set your intentions for the day, make your bed. It's a simple task, but as Admiral McRaven shared in his famous speech, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. It gives you the first accomplishment of the day and sets you up to keep achieving. Then give yourself some time for a bit of exercise. It doesn't have to be a full workout, just something to get the blood flowing and wake your body up. The Stoics were big on the connection between a sound mind and a sound body. Epictetus used to say that it's essential to exercise not just our minds but our bodies too, keeping both in good health. After you've got some movement in, Make sure you're giving your body the right fuel, a healthy breakfast, something that makes you feel good, not something you'll regret an hour later. Remember, this is about setting up patterns that boost your energy and focus, not drain it. As you move through your day, stick to this new pattern. Instead of reaching for your phone to scroll through social media during breaks, maybe step outside, take a walk, or read a page or two of a good book. Seneca would often take these moments to write thoughts in his journal, reflecting on his behaviors and reactions to events, a practice that can help you stay aligned with your new goals. And as your day winds down, take some time to wind down with it. Maybe establish a new evening routine that involves less screen time and more time connecting with yourself or your loved ones. Before bed, reflect on your day. Just like Marcus Aurelius did, he would ask himself questions like, what evil have I cured today? Or what failing have I resisted? Use these questions to audit your day, not to judge yourself harshly, but to observe and plan how you can be even better tomorrow. By revamping your daily routine like this, you're not just changing what you do, you're changing how you think. You're training yourself to live more deliberately, more stoically, with a clear focus on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. Each day becomes a step toward becoming not just the person you want to be, but the person you are meant to be. So keep at it, each day, one day at a time, until these practices are not just something you do, but a part of who you are. Your body is the physical manifestation of your discipline. It reflects the choices you make every single day, whether you push yourself or let yourself slide. And here's a truth most people don't like to admit. The way you carry yourself, the way you move, the way you physically exist in the world, it all matters. Not just for aesthetics, but for who you are becoming. The ancient Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that if you wanted to master your mind, you had to start by mastering your body. Seneca once wrote, "The body should be treated more rigorously that it may not be disobedient to the mind." In other words, control your body and your mind will follow. Most people think of physical transformation as just going to the gym or dieting, but it's so much bigger than that. It's about forging resilience, training yourself to endure discomfort, and pushing through resistance, both in workouts and in life. The Stoics deliberately put themselves in uncomfortable situations to train for hardship. They practiced voluntary discomfort, things like fasting, walking barefoot, or sleeping on the floor, not to suffer, but to prove to themselves that they could. Because once you understand that you can handle discomfort, you stop fearing it. And when you stop fearing discomfort, you become unstoppable. So today, you move, not just for the sake of looking better, but to become better. If you're not someone who exercises regularly, that changes now. And no, you don't need a gym membership or expensive equipment. You just need to start. Go for a run, do body weight exercises, lift something heavy, get your heart rate up, break a sweat, feel your body come alive. This isn't about punishment, it's about awakening something in you that's been dormant for too long. The feeling of effort, of pushing past your limits, that's where confidence is built. That's where you begin to reshape your identity. And let's be clear, this isn't about chasing perfection, it's about consistency. You don't need to train like a professional athlete, but you do need to train like someone who respects themselves. Someone who understands that discipline in the body creates discipline in the mind. That's why Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You must build up your life action by action, and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible." One workout won't change your life, but the habit of showing up every day will. Now let's talk about fuel. What you put into your body dictates your energy, your mood, your focus. The Stoics believed in moderation, in avoiding excess and indulgence that weakens the will. Epictetus warned against being ruled by cravings, saying, "No man is free who is not master of himself." So today, you eat with intention. No more mindless snacking. No more foods that leave you sluggish and foggy. You don't have to be extreme, just make better choices. More whole foods, more water, less of the junk that keeps you stuck. Every time you eat, ask yourself, is this helping me become stronger, sharper, more disciplined? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. Posture, movement, presence. It all shifts when you start treating your body like a tool instead of an afterthought. When you strengthen your body, you carry yourself differently. You stand taller, you move with purpose, and trust me, people notice. More importantly, you notice, because the stronger you become physically, the more unshakable you become mentally. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your biggest weakness. It will either push you forward or hold you back. And the crazy thing, you get to decide which one it is. Most people go through life as prisoners of their own thoughts, trapped by invisible walls built from self-doubt, fear, and excuses. They tell themselves stories. I'm not good enough. I'm not lucky enough. I'm not capable enough. Until those stories become their reality. But here's the truth. Your mind is just a collection of patterns, beliefs, and habits. And just like any bad habit, negative thinking can be broken. That's exactly what today is about. Rewiring your mindset, tearing down every limiting belief and replacing it with something stronger. The Stoics were relentless when it came to controlling their thoughts. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." In other words, what happens to you, the real battle, isn't out there in the world. It's in your head. So today, you stop reacting like a puppet controlled by circumstances, and you start thinking like a warrior who owns every situation. The first step, awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts today. Notice how often doubt creeps in, how quickly you make excuses, how easily you let negativity take over. Every time you hear that little voice saying, "I can't," stop it in its tracks. Question it, challenge it. Ask yourself, who told me that? Where did that belief come from? Is it even true? Because most of the time it's not. It's just an old script you've been running on autopilot, a story you picked up from someone else, a fear disguised as logic. The Stoics called this examining impressions, testing your thoughts instead of blindly believing them. Now, let's get practical. Every time a limiting belief pops into your head today, replace it with its opposite. Instead of, "I don't know how to do this," say, "I'll figure it out." Instead of, "I'm not strong enough," say, "I'm becoming stronger every day." This isn't about fake positivity, it's about shifting your focus. The Stoics didn't sit around hoping for good outcomes. They trained their minds to be resilient no matter what happened. Seneca wrote, "A man is as miserable as he thinks he is." If your thoughts create your experience, why not start thinking like someone who is unstoppable? And let's talk about fear. Fear is the single greatest killer of potential. It stops people from taking risks, from speaking up, from chasing the life they actually want. But here's the thing, fear is always worse in your mind than in reality. The Stoics had a practice called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would visualize the worst-case scenario before it happened, preparing themselves mentally so that when challenges arose, they were ready. They didn't avoid fear, they stared it down and took its power away. So today, think about the things you've been avoiding because of fear. Maybe it's starting that project, having that difficult conversation, stepping out of your comfort zone. Whatever it is, picture the absolute worst-case scenario. Now ask yourself, could I survive that? Could I handle it? The answer is almost always yes. Once you realize that, fear loses its grip. Another thing that keeps people stuck? Complaining. Complaining is mental poison. It shifts your focus from what you can control to what you can't. Marcus Aurelius had a rule. Don't waste time blaming, whining, or wishing things were different. Instead, focus all your energy on what you can do. So today, catch yourself when you complain, whether it's out loud or just in your thoughts, and stop immediately. Ask yourself, what's one action I can take to fix this? If there's nothing you can do, then accept it and move on. No more wasted energy. No matter how strong, disciplined, or successful you become, if you neglect the people around you, you'll always feel like something is missing. Because here's the truth. We are built for connection. Even the most independent, self-sufficient person needs relationships that challenge them, support them, and make them better. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, constantly reminded himself that he was just one piece of a greater whole. He wrote, "We were born for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth." In other words, trying to do life alone isn't strength, it's weakness. But let's be real, relationships aren't always easy. People are messy, unpredictable, and sometimes frustrating. And maybe you've convinced yourself that you're better off keeping to yourself, avoiding the hassle. But if you think about it, the greatest moments of your life, the ones that truly meant something, weren't about money, achievements, or status. They were about people. The late-night conversations that changed your perspective, the friend who showed up when you needed them most, the mentor who pushed you to think bigger. These moments weren't about what you had, they were about who you had. So today, it's time to strengthen your relationships, not just the ones that are easy, but the ones that truly matter. And that starts with a simple but often overlooked habit, being present. In our world of distractions where most people can't get through a conversation without checking their phone, the ability to give someone your full attention is rare, but it's powerful. Seneca wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." That means every interaction, whether it's with a friend, a coworker, or even a stranger, is a chance to be intentional, to connect, to leave someone better than you found them. Start with the people closest to you. When was the last time you had a deep conversation with your parents, your siblings, your best friend? Not the quick, "how's it going?" but a real, meaningful talk. Call them, meet up with them, ask them questions, and actually listen to their answers. Because here's something most people don't realize. Everyone is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Even the strongest, most put-together people have struggles they don't talk about. And sometimes, the smallest act of kindness, the simplest, "Hey, I've been thinking about you," can make more of a difference than you'll ever know. Now let's talk about the people you surround yourself with, because not all relationships are worth keeping. Some people lift you up, challenge you, and make you better. Others drain your energy, fill your head with negativity, and keep you stuck in old patterns. The Stoics were ruthless about this. Epictetus said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." Take a hard look at the people in your life. Are they pushing you toward the person you want to become, or are they holding you back? If it's the latter, it's time to distance yourself. That doesn't mean you have to cut people off cold, but it does mean being intentional about who gets your time and energy. Because time is your most valuable resource, and who you spend it with determines the direction of your life. And finally, don't just strengthen relationships, build new ones. If you don't have people in your life who inspire and challenge you, go find them. Join a new community, reach out to someone you admire, put yourself in places where high-level people gather. The Stoics believed in seeking wisdom from others, learning from those who have walked the path before you. Seneca was a mentor to Nero. Epictetus was a teacher to many. No one grows in isolation. If you want to become the best version of yourself, you need to surround yourself with people who reflect that version. Most people drift through life without a plan. They wake up, go to work, pay their bills, scroll through their phones, and repeat, year after year, without ever asking themselves, where am I actually going? They let life happen to them instead of deciding where they want to go. But here's the thing. If you don't have a direction, you'll never get anywhere. The Stoics were big on this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's life is dyed by the color of his thoughts. What you focus on, what you plan for, and what you consistently work toward. That's what shapes your future. And if you're not clear on what that future looks like, you'll end up stuck in the same cycles, wondering why nothing ever changes." By now, you've spent the past 5 days tearing down old habits, sharpening your mind, and strengthening your body. But transformation isn't just about becoming better. It's about building a future that reflects that new version of you. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens by planning, intentionally, strategically, and with absolute clarity. Seneca said, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." Think about that. If you don't have a clear goal, it doesn't matter how much effort you put in. You'll just keep drifting. So today, we fix that. It's time to take control of your future and design it with purpose. And don't say, I don't know what I want. You do. You just haven't given yourself the time or permission to be honest about it. So start with this question. If everything in my life aligned perfectly in the next 5 years, what would it look like? Not just in a vague, I want to be successful kind of way. Be specific. Where are you living? What kind of work are you doing? What does your day look like? Who is around you? How do you feel waking up in the morning? The clearer you are, the easier it is to move toward that vision. Now, take that 5-year vision and break it down. What needs to happen in the next year to get closer to that? What needs to happen in the next 6 months, the next month, the next week? Most people get stuck because they only dream about the future. They don't create a system for actually getting there. But planning is useless without execution. Marcus Aurelius had a rule: act according to reason, not impulse. That means setting a strategy and following through with discipline. Not just when it's convenient, but every single day. And here's a key point: your plan needs to be flexible. The Stoics understood that no matter how much you prepare, life is unpredictable. You'll face setbacks. Unexpected challenges will come up. But that's not a reason to stop. It's a reason to adapt. Epictetus said, circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him. So when things don't go as planned, adjust, find another way, keep moving forward. The people who succeed aren't the ones with the perfect plan. They're the ones who stay committed no matter what. The Stoics believed deeply in the power of reflection. Every night before he slept, Seneca would review his day, asking himself, what did I do well? What could I have done better? What lessons did I learn? It was about self-judgment. It was about self-mastery, about making sure that each day wasn't wasted but instead used as a building block for something greater. And that's exactly what today is about. Looking back, not with guilt or regret, but with clarity and purpose. So ask yourself, what changed this week? Look at your habits. How do you feel compared to a week ago? Look at your mindset. Are you thinking differently? Look at your confidence. Are you walking with more purpose? If you really committed to this process, the answer should be obvious. But there's something else to reflect on too, the resistance. Because let's be honest, this wasn't easy. There were moments when you wanted to quit, when your old habits tried to pull you back, when the voice of doubt crept in, whispering that this was pointless, that you'd never really change. That voice isn't gone, and it probably never will be. But the difference now, you don't listen to it anymore. Epictetus said, progress is not achieved by luck or accident, but by working on yourself daily. And that's the key. This week wasn't a magic trick. It wasn't about a quick fix or instant results. It was about momentum, about proving to yourself that change is possible when you stop waiting and start moving. But momentum only lasts if you keep it going. So now, the real question is, what happens next? Because let's be clear, if you don't actively continue this work, your old self will creep back in. You'll slip into familiar patterns, and before you know it, a week will pass, then a month, then a year, and you'll wake up wondering how you ended up exactly where you started. That's what happens to most people. They get a taste of change, but they don't lock it in. They don't create systems to sustain it. And that's why today isn't just about reflecting, it's about resetting, solidifying these new habits so they become part of you, not just something you tried once. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. You already know what needs to be done. You already are the person you want to be. You just have to keep showing up as them. That means continuing the habits you built this week, continuing to push yourself, continuing to eliminate distractions, challenge your mind, strengthen your body, and surround yourself with people who elevate you. You've proven that change isn't something that happens to you, it's something you create. The habits you build, the choices you make, the way you carry yourself, all of it shapes the person you're becoming. And now the only question left is, will you keep going? Most people will wait. They'll tell themselves someday, but not you. You know better, you've already started. So don't stop now. Keep pushing, keep refining, keep evolving. Did you know that most of us spend our lives waiting for someday? We tell ourselves, someday I'll be happy, someday I'll pursue my dreams, someday I'll live the life I truly want. But what if someday was actually today? What if I told you that the secret to unlocking your best life lies in a simple shift of perspective? In today's video, we're diving deep into the transformative power of living as if, a strategy that can revolutionize how you approach your goals and dreams right here, right now. Throughout this discussion, we'll explore how changing your mindset can not only alter your immediate reality but also set the stage for long-term fulfillment. I'm thrilled to share these insights, and I genuinely believe you'll find them both empowering and practical. If you value what we're doing here, consider showing your support with a simple free favor. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep producing content that makes a difference. And remember, each part of this video builds on the last, so make sure you don't skip any sections. Stick with me throughout, and let's unlock some powerful strategies together. Let's make someday today. Let me share a little secret with you. There was a time when I lived my life on hold, always waiting for the right moment to make my dreams a reality. It's easy to think that someday we'll have everything perfectly aligned, and then we'll be ready to chase what truly matters. But that day, it never just arrives. We have to create it. I started to wonder, what if I lived as though I had already achieved my dreams? This shift in perspective was inspired by Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to focus on our responses to life's events rather than the events themselves. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius believed in using every moment as an opportunity to practice virtues like courage, wisdom, and self-discipline. So I asked myself, what would a successful version of me do today? Not tomorrow, not next year, but today? This approach transformed my life. Instead of waiting for opportunities, I began creating them. I acted with the confidence and intent of someone who had already succeeded, which led to opening doors I didn't even know existed. It was as if the universe began conspiring to help me succeed, because I was finally in tune with what I truly wanted and believed I could achieve it. Now, think about your own aspirations. What could you achieve if you started living as if your biggest goals were already accomplished? Imagine the sense of purpose and direction you'd feel each morning. It's not about fooling yourself, but about stepping into the shoes of your best self and moving forward with unwavering conviction. Remember, as if isn't about pretending. It's a practice in courage, a way to bridge the gap between who you are and who you want to be. And in this gap, you'll find not just the achievements you desire, but also profound growth in your character. Because when we act as if, we're not just living, we're thriving, propelled by the best version of ourselves. This is the Stoic way, living each day as if it were both your first and your last, with the vitality and vigor that comes from aligning with your deepest values and ambitions. So, let's take that step today, not tomorrow. Act as if you are already the person who has achieved everything you ever wanted. Watch how it changes, not just the things you do, but also how you feel about everything around you. This isn't just about achieving goals. It's about transforming your entire outlook on life. Let's delve into a powerful exercise that I often revisit when I feel disconnected from my goals. Visualization isn't just about dreaming. It's about creating a vivid mental blueprint of your future. Picture this. You've already reached your biggest goal. Can you see it? What are you doing? Who are you with? And most importantly, how do you feel in that moment? I remember the first time I practiced this, I was aiming to become a sought-after speaker, sharing insights on life and Stoicism. I visualized stepping onto the stage, the lights, the audience's expectant faces, and the profound silence waiting for my first words. But the true shift came when I focused deeply on the emotions I felt in that vision. Confidence, excitement, fulfilled. This wasn't just a daydream. It was an emotional rehearsal for what was to come. The Stoics were masters at using visualization not as a form of escape, but as a tool to prepare for reality. They called it premeditatio malorum, where they visualized challenges to prepare themselves mentally and emotionally for future hardships. In our context, it means using visualization to fortify ourselves against the fear of failure and to bolster our resolve to pursue our ambitions relentlessly. Every morning, I spend a few minutes in this visualization, not just seeing but feeling the reality of my achievements. This practice propels me out of bed with a vigor that no cup of coffee can match. It's about aligning my emotional and mental state with my goals, ensuring that my actions throughout the day are intentional and directed toward making that visualized future a reality. So, what vision will you hold in your mind? What emotions will you choose to feel as if your success is already a fact? Embrace this technique and weave it into your daily routine. Feel the joy, the pride, and the sheer thrill of achieving your dreams, even before they materialize. This isn't just optimism, it's a strategic rehearsal for your success. I'll let you in on a transformative moment from my own journey. There was a time when my aspirations seemed like distant, almost unreachable stars. I wanted to be recognized as a leader in my field and influential and inspiring. But here's the twist. I decided to start acting the part long before the accolades and acknowledgments came my way. I began each day asking myself, how would the leader I aspire to be handle this? Whether it was dealing with a challenging client or navigating setbacks, I stepped up. I made decisions from a place of authority and confidence, not hesitance. I dressed the part, spoke with conviction, and perhaps most importantly, I made strategic choices that a successful person in my field would make. This wasn't about putting on a mask, it was about embodying the best version of myself, one decision at a time. Now, think about your own goals. How does the person you want to become handle their day-to-day tasks? How do they interact with others? How do they manage stress and setbacks? Emulating these behaviors before they become a reality is not just play acting, it's a profound exercise in self-actualization. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in accordance with nature, which, in our case, translates to living in a way that aligns with our true potential. Let me ask you this. What can you do right now, today, that aligns with your vision of success? Maybe it's tackling a project you've been postponing, or perhaps it's reaching out to a mentor. Each action, no matter how small, is a step toward becoming who you really want to be. And yes, there will be days when it feels like you're just going through the motions. But remember, consistency is key. Every act, every decision in line with your future self fortifies your path to becoming that person. Embracing your new role before it materializes isn't just a strategy, it's a profound transformation that begins deep within your emotional core. Let me share a chapter from my own life. When I first aimed to become a motivational speaker, every morning, before the sun even peeped through the curtains, I stood in front of my mirror, rehearsed my speeches, and soaked in the applause I imagined echoed through packed auditoriums. This wasn't about wishful thinking. It was about emotionally anchoring myself in my future reality. I still remember the butterflies, the nerves, and the raw energy I felt during those mornings. But here's the key. I didn't wait for my first actual applause to feel validated or successful. I allowed myself to feel proud, capable, and genuinely moved by my own journey and the messages I shared. This emotional resonance is crucial because it cements your belief in your potential and your path. It's what fuels you through setbacks and rejections. The Stoics often spoke about amor fati, a love of fate. They believed in embracing every aspect of life, not just the joys, but also the challenges, as necessary parts of your journey. By allowing myself to feel the emotions associated with my desired role, I was practicing amor fati. I was not just waiting for success to come and find me, I was living it in my emotions and reactions. How about you? What emotions would you feel if you achieved your greatest aspiration right now? Try to live those emotions today. Feel the joy, the gratitude, and yes, even the responsibility that comes with your dreams. When you align your emotional state with your ambitions, you're not just hoping for a future, you're living it. This practice doesn't just prepare you for your dreams, it attracts them to you. Because when you resonate with the energy of your dreams, the world can't help but respond in kind. In my own journey, the realization hit hard that dreaming big wasn't enough. It had to be paired with daily, actionable steps. This lesson became clear when I committed to writing a book on Stoicism. The project was daunting, immense like a mountain looming before me. However, breaking it down into daily, manageable tasks transformed what seemed like an insurmountable challenge into a series of small, achievable victories. Every morning I made it a point to write at least one page. Some days the words flowed freely, other days it was like squeezing water from a stone. But regardless of the struggle, this daily discipline was non-negotiable. It wasn't just about progress on my book. It was about reinforcing my identity as a writer and a scholar of Stoicism. I was living proof of Marcus Aurelius' advice, "The color of your thoughts dyes your soul." By focusing on positive, proactive thoughts, I colored my soul with resilience and determination. Let's translate this approach to your goals. What's your mountain? Maybe it's starting a business, learning a new skill, or improving your health. Break it down. What can you do each day to move one step closer to your summit? It could be as simple as reading for 20 minutes, practicing a new language, or choosing a healthy meal over fast food. These actions might seem small in isolation, but cumulatively, they wield the power to transform your life. Now, I challenge you to think of 3 small actions you can take daily. Write them down. Make them as specific and time-bound as possible. For example, instead of saying, "I will work out more," say, "I will walk for 30 minutes at 7 a.m. This specificity acts as a mini contract with yourself, and fulfilling it daily builds integrity and self-trust. In the spirit of Stoicism, remember that it's not the actions themselves, but how we approach them that matters. Approach each small task with the same seriousness and dedication as you would your ultimate goal. This mindset shift is pivotal. Each small task completed is a brick in the foundation of your dreams. By committing to these daily actions, you're not just hoping for a better future, you're actively constructing it. Doubts and fears are companions on any journey worth taking. I recall the early days of my speaking career, standing backstage, heart pounding, palms sweaty, questioning if I was really cut out for this. What if I failed? What if the audience didn't resonate with what I had to say? These questions would swirl in my mind, threatening to undermine all my preparations and efforts. But then I would take a deep breath and remember a core Stoic principle. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca, this realization was transformative. It reminded me that fear is often not rooted in the actual events that confront us, but in the shadows of our minds. Acknowledging this didn't make the fear disappear instantly, but it allowed me to see it for what it truly was, an internal obstacle, not an external truth. Facing skepticism, whether from within or from others, is a part of the process of pursuing anything that defies the status quo. To move past it, the first step is to simply acknowledge these fears without judgment. Say to yourself, "Yes, I'm scared. Yes, I have doubts." This acknowledgement is not a sign of weakness, but of profound courage. It is the first step in reclaiming your power from the clutches of fear. Next, ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid? This question opens up a space for you to explore possibilities without the weight of fear. Often, it's not about eliminating fear, but about learning to move forward in spite of it. This is what the Stoics excel at. They harness their perceptions and focus on what is within their control, which is always their own actions and responses. Turn this into a practice. Each time you encounter a doubt or fear, write it down, acknowledge it. Then, write a counterstatement that reflects the action you would take if fear were not a factor. This practice not only helps in managing fears, but also builds a reservoir of courage and resilience that you can draw upon over time. When I first embarked on my journey to integrate Stoicism into my daily life, I quickly learned that the true challenge wasn't in understanding its principles, but in applying them consistently, every day, in every decision. I needed to embody patience, resilience, and wisdom, traits that are easy to admire but incredibly challenging to live out. especially when you're faced with the stresses and pressures of everyday life. I remember one particularly grueling week when everything that could go wrong did. Clients were unhappy, deadlines were missed, and my personal life felt just as chaotic. It was during these moments, these tests, that the power of consistency became crystal clear. Instead of letting despair take hold, I focused on maintaining my stoic practices, reflecting on my reactions, focusing on what I could control, and accepting what I couldn't. This didn't solve all my problems overnight, but it helped me navigate them with a clarity and calmness that had previously eluded me. Consistency in our actions transforms what are singular acts into habits, and eventually into traits of our character. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Your consistent acts create your reality." Each day, by choosing to act in alignment with my values, no matter the circumstances, I was not only developing resilience, but also actively creating the life I envisioned. Here's what I suggest to anyone watching this. Find your practice, your anchor. That thing that you commit to doing every day, no matter how small. It could be as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for, meditating for 5 minutes, or reading a page of a thought-provoking book. The size of the action isn't what transforms you, it's the regularity. It's about doing it on the days you feel good and pushing through on the days when you don't. Think of it as forging your own character in the fire of daily life. Each day is an opportunity to reinforce who you are and who you want to become. This consistency is what builds the bridge between your current self and the ideal self you envision. We all experience those moments when negative thoughts start creeping in, planting seeds of doubt and insecurity in our minds. The nagging voice that questions our abilities, worth, and decisions can be incredibly disruptive, impacting all aspects of our lives. If left unchecked, these mental patterns can spiral into anxiety, lack of motivation, and even depression. I know this struggle all too well. There were times when I felt consumed by negative self-talk and crippling self-doubt. It was a constant battle to silence the inner critic and regain my confidence. But then, I discovered the profound teachings of Stoicism. This ancient Greek philosophy provided me with powerful strategies to overcome these challenges. As Marcus Aurelius, the famous Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, wisely stated, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This realization was transformative for me. I began to understand that my negative thoughts were not facts, but mere interpretations, and that I had the power to change them. So, what is the purpose of our journey today? It is to share the timeless Stoic principles that will help you deal effectively with negative thoughts and self-doubt. By the end of this exploration, you will be equipped with practical tools and insights to confront these inner battles head-on, reclaiming your inner peace and confidence. But this is not a passive experience. Stay engaged, reflect on these lessons, and actively apply them daily. True transformation occurs through knowledge, consistent action, and practice. With that, let us begin our exploration of the Stoic way of overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt, guided by the wise words of Marcus Aurelius. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Understanding negative thoughts and self-doubt, we must first understand their nature and impact to effectively deal with negative thoughts and self-doubt. As Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, wisely stated, "It is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things." Negative thoughts are not inherently bad or wrong. Our minds create interpretations based on our experiences, beliefs, and conditioning. However, when left unchecked, these thoughts can spiral, distorting our perception of reality and undermining our sense of self-worth. For instance, consider a situation where you made a mistake at work. A negative thought might arise, such as, "I'm so incompetent, I'll never succeed in this job." This thought, however, is not a fact, but a judgment colored by self-doubt and harsh self-criticism. The impact of such negative self-talk can be far-reaching. It can affect our motivation, decision-making, and overall well-being. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Persistent negative thoughts can drain our energy, cloud our judgment, and even influence our physical health. Now, let's engage in a brief exercise. Take a moment to reflect on a recent negative thought or moment of self-doubt that you experienced. Please write it down or make a mental note of it. We will revisit this later in our exploration. Understanding the nature and potential consequences of negative thoughts enables us to approach them more objectively. We can recognize them as mere interpretations, not absolute truths, and work towards reframing them more constructively. Remember, as Epictetus taught, it is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things. With this awareness, we can break free from negative thoughts and self-doubt, paving the way for a more empowered and fulfilling life. Changing your perspective. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the idea that our thoughts shape our reality. Epictetus wisely stated, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." This profound insight holds the key to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt. By changing our perspective, we can transform our experience. Let's revisit the example from the previous chapter, where you made a mistake at work and a negative thought arose, labeling you as incompetent and doubting your ability to succeed. This thought is not a fact, but a subjective interpretation colored by self-doubt and harsh self-criticism. The Stoics would encourage us to reframe this thought by adopting a more objective and rational perspective. Instead of criticizing ourselves, we could view the mistake as a learning opportunity to identify areas for improvement and growth. We could remind ourselves that mistakes are an inevitable part of the human experience, and that even the most accomplished individuals have faced setbacks and failures throughout their journeys. By reframing our perspective, we can transform a negative thought into a constructive one, shifting our mindset from self-doubt to self-compassion and resilience. But the Stoics didn't just preach theoretical ideas. They offered practical wisdom rooted in real-life examples. One such example comes from the life of Seneca, the famous Stoic philosopher and advisor to the Roman Emperor Nero. In one of his letters, Seneca recounts a story of a friend deeply troubled by a nightmarish vision he had experienced. Seneca advised his friend to focus on reality rather than being consumed by his imagination, saying, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." Like Seneca's friend, we often allow our negative thoughts and fears to spiral out of control, creating imagined scenarios that cause unnecessary suffering. By grounding ourselves in reality and adopting a more objective perspective, we can break free from the grip of these distorted thoughts. Here's a practical step-by-step guide to help you reframe a negative thought. Identify the negative thought or self-doubt. Write it down or make a mental note. Examine the evidence. Is this thought based on facts or assumptions? Are there alternative perspectives you still need to consider? Challenge the thought. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Or, would I say this to a loved one in a similar situation? Reframe the thought. Replace the negative thought with a more constructive, rational interpretation that aligns with your values and goals. Repeat the reframed thought. Reinforce the new perspective by repeating it to yourself or writing it down. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. By actively practicing reframing our perspective, we can gradually rewire our thought patterns, cultivating a more resilient and empowered mindset. It takes consistent effort, but the rewards are immense. A greater sense of inner peace, self-confidence, and ability to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Focus on what you can control. One of the core tenets of Stoic philosophy is the principle of focusing our energy and attention on what we can control, rather than wasting time and energy agonizing over things beyond our influence. Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle is compelling when dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt. While we cannot always control the initial thoughts that arise, we can control how we respond to them. Do we allow them to spiral, fueling our self-doubt and anxiety, or do we consciously shift our focus to what is within our control? Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you've been passed over for a promotion at work, and feelings of self-doubt and negative thoughts begin to surface. I'm not good enough. I'll never advance in this company. I'm a failure. While it's understandable to feel disappointed, dwelling on these negative thoughts and ruminating over the situation will only breed more negativity and disempowerment. Instead, the Stoic approach would focus on what you can control: your reaction, your mindset, and your next steps. You might reframe the situation by acknowledging that while the outcome was not what you hoped for, it does not define your worth or capability. You can respond with resilience, using the experience as motivation to identify areas for growth and development. Additionally, you can focus on what is within your control, such as updating your skills, seeking feedback from mentors, or exploring new opportunities within or outside the company. This principle is exemplified in Epictetus' life. Born into slavery, he faced numerous challenges and adversities beyond his control. However, he focused his energy on what was within his power: his mindset, actions, and response to circumstances. In one of his famous teachings, Epictetus emphasized, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." By embracing this wisdom, we can avoid becoming consumed by negative thoughts and self-doubt from situations we cannot control. Instead, we can focus on our sphere of influence, taking constructive action and maintaining a positive, empowered mindset. To put this principle into practice, I invite you to pause and reflect on a current worry or concern causing you distress. Identify the aspects of the situation within your control and separate them from the factors beyond your influence. By consciously shifting your focus to what you can control, you'll find it easier to let go of negative thoughts and self-doubt surrounding the uncontrollable elements. This simple yet profound practice can cultivate inner peace, resilience, and empowerment in facing life's challenges. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, you can reclaim your power and navigate life's ups and downs with grace and composure. Building resilience through Stoic practices. Thus far, we've discussed powerful Stoic principles for reframing negative thoughts, focusing on what's within our control, and cultivating an empowered mindset. However, the Stoics understood that lasting inner transformation requires more than intellectual understanding. It demands consistent practice and the cultivation of specific mental habits. One such practice is the Stoic concept of negative visualization, which may seem counterintuitive at first glance. As Epictetus wisely stated, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time." Negative visualization involves contemplating potential adverse scenarios or misfortunes that could befall us. It may sound like a recipe for pessimism, but the Stoics saw it as a tool to cultivate gratitude, resilience, and a deeper appreciation for the present moment. By mentally preparing for challenges and setbacks, we become less shocked and overwhelmed when they inevitably occur. Additionally, it helps us cherish the good things rather than take them for granted. Let's engage in a brief exercise to experience the power of this practice. Close your eyes and imagine losing something truly valuable to you, a possession, a relationship, or even your health. Allow yourself to feel the weight of that potential loss. Fully notice how this exercise can heighten your gratitude for what you currently have and instill a sense of humble appreciation for the temporary nature of all things. The Stoics understood that by regularly practicing negative visualization, we could develop a kind of emotional immunity, a resilience that allows us to weather life's storms with poise and grace. Marcus Aurelius, the mighty Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, embodied this principle. Despite facing numerous personal losses and challenges, including the untimely deaths of several children and a devastating plague that ravaged his empire, Marcus Aurelius maintained his composure. He continued to govern with wisdom and compassion. He wrote in his famous Meditations, "How ridiculous and unrealistic is the man who is astonished at anything that happens in life." By embracing the Stoic practice of negative visualization, Marcus Aurelius cultivated a profound sense of resilience and acceptance, allowing him to navigate even the most harrowing circumstances with grace and poise. As we continue our journey toward overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt, Practices like negative visualization can serve as powerful tools to fortify our mental and emotional resilience. By regularly reminding ourselves of the impermanence of all things and mentally preparing for potential adversity, we can cultivate a sense of humble gratitude and develop the inner strength to face life's challenges with courage and wisdom. Remember, as Epictetus taught, no great thing is created suddenly. Building resilience is a gradual process that requires consistent practice and dedication, but by embracing Stoic practices, we can steadily cultivate the inner resources to overcome negative thoughts, self-doubt, and any obstacles that may arise. Surrounding yourself with positivity, while the Stoic teachings emphasize cultivating inner resilience and self-mastery, the ancient philosophers recognized the profound impact our social environment has on our mental and emotional well-being. As Epictetus wisely advised, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. The people we surround ourselves with can either fuel our negative thought patterns and self-doubt, or inspire us to rise above them. Their words, attitudes, and energy can drag us down or elevate us to new heights of confidence and self-assurance. Think about the individuals in your life who consistently radiate positivity, encouragement, and belief in your potential. Perhaps it's a close friend, a mentor, or a family member who has consistently supported and uplifted you, even during your darkest moments of self-doubt. Now, contrast that with the people in your life who seem to perpetuate your negative thought patterns. They might be quick to criticize, doubt your abilities, or project their insecurities onto you. The Stoics understood that limiting exposure to negative influences and intentionally cultivating uplifting relationships could profoundly impact our mental and emotional state. Consider the example of Monkey D. Luffy from the anime One Piece. Luffy's journey to becoming the Pirate King is significantly influenced by the positive and supportive friends he surrounds himself with. Early in his quest, Luffy gathers a diverse crew of individuals who believe in his dream and support him through every challenge and setback. Characters like Zoro, Nami, Sanji, and Chopper contribute their strengths and unwavering belief in Luffy, encouraging him to persevere despite overwhelming odds. Their support and friendship help Luffy stay resilient and inspire each other to grow and reach their potential. By intentionally curating his crew, Luffy creates an environment that nurtures confidence, resilience, and determination, ultimately propelling him toward his dream of finding the One Piece and becoming the Pirate King. On the other hand, imagine the path of someone who remains entrenched in a toxic social environment. Constantly surrounded by negativity, criticism, and doubt, it becomes increasingly challenging for them to break free from negative thoughts and self-doubt when those patterns are continuously reinforced by their social influences. So, how can we apply this Stoic wisdom to our own lives? Here are some practical tips. Evaluate your current social circle. Identify the individuals who uplift and encourage you, as well as those who perpetuate negative thought patterns. Gradually limit exposure to toxic influences while nurturing and prioritizing relationships with positive, supportive people. Seek out communities, groups, or mentors aligned with your values and goals, as they can provide a powerful source of inspiration and motivation. Be mindful of the energy you bring to your relationships. Strive to positively influence others, just as you seek positivity from them. Remember, as Epictetus taught, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. By intentionally surrounding ourselves with positive influences, we create an environment conducive to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt and embracing our full potential. It's a journey that requires conscious effort and discernment, but the rewards are invaluable. A greater sense of confidence, resilience, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with the support and encouragement of those who believe in us. Gratitude and contentment. At the core of Stoic philosophy lies a profound understanding of the power of gratitude and contentment. These principles serve as potent antidotes to the negative thought patterns and self-doubt that can quickly consume us in our modern, fast-paced lives. As Marcus Aurelius eloquently stated, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours." These words encapsulate the essence of gratitude, the practice of actively appreciating and savoring the blessings we already possess, rather than constantly yearning for more. By cultivating gratitude, we shift our focus away from perceived deficiencies and scarcity and instead embrace the abundance surrounding us. Imagine the weight lifted from your shoulders if you genuinely appreciate and feel grateful for all the positive aspects of your life, rather than fixating on what you lack or wish you had. The Stoics understood that this shift in perspective could profoundly impact our mental and emotional well-being. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, echoed this sentiment when he wrote, "It is in no man's power to have whatever he wants, but he has it in his power not to wish for what he hasn't got, and cheerfully make the most of the things that do come his way." These words remind us that true contentment does not come from constantly acquiring more, but from cultivating a sense of sufficiency and appreciating what we already have. By embracing this mindset, we can break free from the endless desire and dissatisfaction that fuels so much of our negative self-talk and self-doubt. To put this into practice, let's engage in a brief gratitude exercise. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Now, consider 3 aspects of your life that you are truly grateful for. Perhaps your health, a loving relationship, or a cherished memory. Allow yourself to fully savor and appreciate these blessings, feeling the warmth of gratitude spread through your being. As you open your eyes, notice the subtle shift in your perspective. Do you feel lighter, more present, and less burdened by negative thoughts or self-doubt? This is the transformative power of gratitude and contentment. Acceptance and letting go, Epictetus wisely advised. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. These words highlight a profound truth. Much of our suffering and negative thought patterns stem from our resistance to how things are and our attachment to how we believe they should be. By accepting reality as it unfolds, without judgment or resistance, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and freedom from negative thoughts and self-doubt. Consider the example of a student who has worked tirelessly to prepare for a critical exam, only to receive a disappointing result. Suppose they cling to the expectation of a different outcome. In that case, they will likely spiral into a cycle of negative self-talk, doubt, and rumination. However, if they embrace the Stoic principle of acceptance, they can acknowledge the reality of the situation without judgment or self-criticism. They can redirect their energy toward constructive next steps rather than dwelling on what cannot be changed. This principle was embodied by Marcus Aurelius, who faced numerous challenges and adversities during his reign as Roman emperor. In his famous Meditations, he wrote, "How ridiculous and strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life." These words reflect a deep understanding of the impermanence and unpredictability of life, a recognition that resistance and clinging to expectations only breed suffering. By accepting the ebb and flow of circumstances with equanimity, Marcus Aurelius navigated even the most tumultuous times with grace and wisdom. The Stoics understood that true freedom lies in letting go of our resistance and accepting what is, rather than constantly battling against reality. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "Nothing happens to anybody which he is not fitted by nature to bear." Consider a situation you have resisted or struggled to accept. To put this principle into practice, take a few deep breaths and consciously let go of your resistance, embracing the reality of the situation without judgment or self-criticism. Notice how this simple acceptance can alleviate the burden of negative thoughts and self-doubt. By releasing the need to control or change the uncontrollable, you create space for inner peace, clarity, and the ability to respond with wisdom and equanimity. By embracing the Stoic practices of acceptance and letting go, we can cultivate the inner freedom to navigate life's challenges with resilience, grace, and a profound sense of inner peace. Self-reflection and growth. While the Stoic teachings provide potent tools for dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt in the present moment, These ancient philosophers understood that lasting transformation requires a more profound commitment to self-reflection and personal growth. As Epictetus wisely advised, when you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your failings. He will grow better for being reproved, and you better yourself by this wholesome exercise. These words highlight the profound value of self-reflection, the practice of turning our gaze inward, examining our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with honesty and courage. Through this process, we can identify areas for growth, confront our blind spots, and cultivate the self-awareness necessary for lasting personal development. Imagine for a moment a scenario where you made a mistake or experienced a setback that triggered a wave of negative self-talk and self-doubt. Instead of wallowing in these thoughts or projecting blame onto external factors, the Stoic approach would be to engage in radical self-reflection. Ask yourself probing questions. What role did my own actions or assumptions play in this outcome? What lessons can I learn from this experience? How can I approach similar situations with greater wisdom and resilience in the future? By adopting this mindset of self-reflection and growth, we shift our perspective from self-criticism and stagnation to empowerment and continuous improvement. The Stoics understood that personal growth is not a linear journey, but a cyclical process of self-reflection, learning, and implementation. It requires a willingness to confront our shortcomings and embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than sources of self-doubt and negativity. One powerful example of this principle in action is the life story of Epictetus himself. Born into slavery and subjected to numerous hardships, Epictetus could have easily succumbed to bitterness, resentment, and self-pity. However, he chose a path of radical self-reflection and personal growth. Through his unwavering commitment to examining his thoughts, beliefs, and actions, Epictetus developed a profound understanding of the human condition and the path to inner freedom. His teachings have resonated for centuries and serve as a testament to the transformative power of self-reflection and growth. To cultivate this practice in your life, start by setting aside dedicated time for self-reflection, whether through journaling, meditation, or simply creating space for quiet contemplation. During these moments, ask yourself probing questions about your thoughts, beliefs, and actions, and approach your self-inquiry with curiosity and compassion. When you inevitably encounter moments of failure, setbacks, or negative self-talk, use them as opportunities for growth. Resist the urge to indulge in self-criticism or blame. Instead, turn your attention inward. Explore the lessons to be learned, the blind spots to be illuminated, and the steps to approach similar situations with greater wisdom and resilience. Remember, as Epictetus taught, seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourselves. By committing to the Stoic practice of self-reflection and growth, you unlock the key to overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt from the inside out. It is a journey that requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront your limitations with humility, but the rewards are immeasurable. A more profound sense of self-awareness, resilience, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Stoic quotes about negative thoughts and self-doubt. The ancient Stoic philosophers left us a treasure trove of wisdom for dealing with negative thoughts and self-doubt. Let's explore some of their most powerful insights. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius. Our thoughts shape our reality. By changing our thoughts, we can change our experience of life. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. Our suffering comes not from external events, but from our judgments about them, which we can change. How ridiculous and unrealistic is the man who is astonished at anything that happens in life. Marcus Aurelius. There is no need to be shocked or disturbed by life's inevitable challenges and setbacks. Acceptance is key. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Our persistent thoughts profoundly influence our state of being. Negative thoughts breed negativity. It is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things. Epictetus. Events themselves are neutral. Our interpretations cause us distress or inner peace. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Epictetus. Happiness comes from focusing our energy on what we can control, not the uncontrollable. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. We cannot always control circumstances, but we can control our responses to them. Men are disturbed, not by things, but by the view which they take of them. Epictetus. Our perspective, not external events, is the true source of our inner turmoil or peace. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. Epictetus. Acceptance, not resistance, is the path to tranquility. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Seneca. Our pessimistic forecasts often cause more suffering than reality itself. Nothing happens to anybody which he is not fitted by nature to bear. Marcus Aurelius. We have the innate resilience to withstand whatever life brings our way. Remove the judgment, and you have removed the thought, I am hurt, and the hurt itself is gone. Marcus Aurelius. It is our judgments that create our suffering, not circumstances themselves. Until we have begun to go without them, we fail to realize how unnecessary many things are. We've been using them not because we needed them, but because we had them. Seneca. These words encapsulate the essence of the Stoic approach, the recognition that true freedom and fulfillment arise not from external circumstances or possessions, but from the cultivation of our inner resources, resilience, and alignment with our deepest values. Internalizing these Stoic teachings allows us to rewire our minds, question our negative thought patterns, and cultivate a more resilient, empowered mindset. The path to overcoming self-doubt lies in changing our perspectives and reactions, not controlling the uncontrollable. Remember, the journey toward overcoming negative thoughts and self-doubt is not a destination, but a continuous practice, a lifelong commitment to personal growth, self-reflection, and the pursuit of a life well lived. Ever felt like life is pulling you in a million different directions, and no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to find your footing? Well, you're not alone. Right now, across the globe, millions are feeling overwhelmed, not by a lack of dreams, but by the chaos of everyday demands that cloud their true potential. Today we're going to strip back the layers of noise and rediscover clarity through the lens of Stoicism, a philosophy that has empowered thinkers and leaders for centuries to face life's turbulence with calm and resilience. Now, if you find yourself nodding along, thinking, yes, that's exactly what I need, then I'm glad you're here. And if you appreciate what we're doing, showing a little love by hitting that subscribe button won't cost a thing, but will mean the world to us. Stick with me through this journey today, because every single moment of this video is packed with insights that could just be the answer you've been looking for. Together we'll explore timeless Stoic strategies to reset, restart, and refocus. Because sometimes, all you need to change your life is to view it from a new perspective. Let's dive in. Let's talk about a concept that might seem simple on the surface, but is incredibly transformative once you dive deep. Reset. Specifically, I want to focus on the idea of clearing the clutter. It's a powerful metaphor, isn't it? Just saying it out loud feels like a breath of fresh air. Now, when you think of clutter, you might picture a desk buried under piles of papers, or a closet stuffed to the brim with clothes you haven't worn in years. But I'm not just talking about physical clutter. I'm talking about the mental and emotional clutter that piles up in our lives, often without us even noticing. I'm talking about the mental and emotional clutter that piles up in our lives, often without us even noticing. Here's a personal story for you. A while back, I found myself feeling unusually stressed and anxious. I was meeting deadlines, hitting my targets, doing all the right things. But something felt off. My mind felt cluttered, like an attic filled with old boxes. Boxes of worries, doubts, and old grudges I couldn't seem to throw out. I needed a reset, not just superficially but deeply. The Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the importance of simplifying life to see clearly. They believed in discarding not just unnecessary physical possessions, but also unnecessary thoughts and emotions that complicate our lives. This Stoic principle became my guiding light. I began by asking myself tough questions, the kind that make you pause and really think. What am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What fears are just old habits in disguise? This process of questioning is like sorting through that attic. Each item, each thought, each emotion needs to be picked up, examined, and then, most importantly, decided upon. Do I keep it? Do I let it go? This is where the real clearing starts. It's about recognizing that some worries are just noise, distractions from what truly matters. They don't need to be in my space, in my head, or in my heart. Resetting is about making space for new growth, new experiences. It's like preparing a garden at the start of spring. You clear out the dead leaves and weeds, not because the work is fun, but because you know it's necessary. For new life to thrive, the Stoics remind us that every new day brings with it a chance to start afresh, to realign with our values and our goals. They teach us that freedom comes not from external achievements, but from internal balance and peace. As I embarked on this journey of clearing out, I started small. I tackled one box at a time. One week I focused on letting go of a grudge. Another week it was about dialing back the self-doubt, turning down the volume on that critical inner voice that said, "You can't do this." Each act of letting go felt like a weight lifting off my shoulders. Now, let me ask you, what's cluttering your mind? What's taking up space in your life that no longer serves a positive purpose? Maybe it's resentment over a past failure, or anxiety about an uncertain future. Maybe it's the unrealistic standards you set for yourself, or the toxic relationships that drain your energy. Imagine if you started clearing that clutter. Imagine the freedom, the lightness, the room to breathe and grow. It's not just about removing the bad, but about making space for the good, for something better. This isn't about denying your past experiences, but about choosing not to let them define or limit you anymore. And here's the thing about resetting. It's not a one-time event. It's a continuous process, a habit you develop. Each day is a new opportunity to clear away what doesn't belong and reinforce what does. It's about building resilience, about learning to bounce back faster and stronger because you're not weighed down by unnecessary baggage. So as you listen to this, think about what you can reset in your life today. It doesn't have to be big. Start small. Maybe it's deciding to forgive someone, to forgive yourself, or to set aside a worry that's been nagging at you. Remember, each piece of clutter you clear makes room for something invaluable. Peace of mind, clarity, and the strength to face whatever comes next. As the Stoics would say, the obstacle in the path becomes the path. Every challenge, every bit of clutter we clear, shapes us, molds us into the people we are meant to be. So let's reset, not just once, but as a way of life. Let's make it count. Because in the clarity of a decluttered mind and heart lies the power to craft a truly fulfilling life. Now, let's tackle the concept of restart. This is where the real grit of life comes into play. It's about picking yourself up after you've been knocked down, dusting yourself off, and stepping back into the ring. It's a test of courage, a true measure of your resilience. And let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart, but it is for everyone. We all face moments when the easiest thing to do would be to give up. But here's where Stoic wisdom shines through, teaching us that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. There was a time in my life when I hit rock bottom. I had faced a major setback in my career, and everything I had worked so hard for seemed to crumble right before my eyes. It felt like standing amidst the ruins of a once glorious castle that I had built, brick by brick. The temptation to just sit in the rubble was overwhelming. But here's the kicker. The Stoics say, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. And that's what I did. I made my obstacle my way forward. Restarting isn't about brushing off your failures as if they're nothing. No, it's about acknowledging them, learning from them. It's about looking your failures in the eye and saying, you can't keep me down. Because the truth is, every failure is ripe with potential to teach us something invaluable, something that success never could. I asked myself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? The answers to those questions were the first steps I took toward my restart. I started by setting small, manageable goals. It wasn't about reclaiming all my lost ground in a day. Instead, it was about moving forward one small step at a time. Each step, no matter how small, was a victory. It was a defiance of failure, a testament to my resilience. And with each step, my journey forward gathered momentum. But let's be real, restarting can be daunting. You're not always going to have clear direction. That's where the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, comes in. It's about visualizing the worst-case scenarios and preparing for them. Not to be pessimistic, but to be prepared. When you've already faced your fears in your mind, taking action in the real world becomes less daunting. It's like rehearsing for a play. When the curtains lift, you're ready to perform. And here's a thought for you. How often do you hold back because the fear of failure paralyzes you? Imagine what you could achieve if you viewed each failure as a step up, not a stumble. Picture yourself as a phoenix, rising from the ashes, reborn and renewed. That's the essence of restarting. It's not about never failing. It's about never letting failure have the last word. During my restart, I also learned the importance of community. Sharing my struggles, being vulnerable, it connected me with others who were on their own paths of restarting. We supported each other, cheered for each small win, and pushed through setbacks together. Remember, you're not alone. Reach out, connect, share your journey. The strength you gain from others can be your greatest asset when restarting. Stoicism also teaches us the value of amor fati, a love of fate. It means embracing everything that happens to you, including your failures. It's about saying, this is exactly what I needed, because sometimes the lessons we need most can only be learned the hard way. Embracing your journey with all its ups and downs makes restarting not just a necessity, but a privilege. So, if you're standing at the crossroads, unsure if you can face starting over, let me leave you with this. Every restart is a declaration of hope. It's a commitment to yourself that you are not defined by your past, but by the courage you show in moving forward. And every time you choose to restart, you are taking another step toward becoming the person you are meant to be. Don't wait for the perfect moment to restart. Create it. Make today the day you pick up the pieces and craft a new beginning. Your next chapter is waiting to be written, and it starts with a single decision: to rise, restart, and embrace the journey ahead. Remember, in the words of Marcus Aurelius, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. So, think like a Stoic, restart like a warrior, and transform your life into the masterpiece it's meant to be. Now let's talk about a crucial step in our journey of self-reinvention: refocusing. Refocusing is about keeping your eyes on the prize, about aligning your daily actions with your ultimate goals. It's easy to get sidetracked in this fast-paced world, to lose sight of what we truly want. The noise of everyday life can drown out our deepest desires and true intentions. But here's where the art of refocusing comes into play, guiding us back to our path, to what really matters. There was a time in my life when I felt I was drifting. My goals seemed blurry and my actions didn't align with what I deeply aspired to achieve. I was busy, sure, but not productive in the way I wanted to be. It was like sailing a boat without a compass. I was moving, but not necessarily forward. That's when I stumbled upon a Stoic principle that changed everything: the concept of prosocia, or attentive focus. This ancient idea taught me the importance of mindfulness and intentionality in every action. Refocusing means being deliberate about what you let into your life. It's about pruning the unnecessary, the trivial, the distractions that sap your energy and scatter your focus. It's about asking yourself, is what I'm doing right now serving my ultimate purpose? If not, it might be time to let it go. Let's get practical here. Start by defining your top priorities. What are the 3 things that, if you achieve them, would make the biggest impact on your life? Write them down. Keep them somewhere you can see every day. And each day, do at least one thing that moves you closer to one of those goals. It's about small, consistent actions. As the Stoics believed, it's not the grand gestures but the daily decisions that shape our destinies. Refocusing also involves setting boundaries, sturdy, visible lines that protect your time and energy. It means saying no to unnecessary commitments that do not align with your goals. It means being okay with disappointing others, to not disappoint yourself. Stoicism teaches us that our time and our focus are among the few things we can control. Use them wisely. Here's something to ponder. How often do you find yourself doing something just because it's what you've always done? Maybe it's a job that no longer fulfills you, a habit that no longer serves you, or a relationship that drains more than it gives. Imagine the clarity and freedom you'd feel if you started saying yes only to things that align with your deeper values and goals. That's what refocusing is all about. During my own refocusing phase, I realized how scattered my efforts had been. I was trying to chase too many goals, which meant I wasn't making meaningful progress in any area. I took a step back and reevaluated my path. I started to cut out the clutter, not just in my physical space, but in my commitments, in my social media use, in how I spent my leisure time. Every piece of clutter cleared was like removing a blindfold. My goals came back into sharp focus. Refocusing is not a one-time fix. It's a continuous process. Life changes, goals evolve, and our focus needs to shift accordingly. It's like recalibrating a compass when you find out you've been slightly off course. It's not a failure. It's a necessary part of navigating. And if you're wondering if it's too late to refocus, let me remind you of a Stoic truth. It's never too late to be who you might have been. Every moment is a chance to turn things around, to align yourself with your aspirations. Your past decisions do not have to dictate your future. The power to change your focus lies in your hands, right here, right now. So take a moment today to ask yourself, what am I focusing on? Is it what matters most to me? If not, what can I change? Remember, refocusing is about more than just achieving goals. It's about crafting a life that's truly worth living, a life that reflects your deepest values and aspirations. Refocus now, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Let every step you take be purposeful. Let every decision be intentional. And watch as the pieces of the puzzle start to fit together, revealing a picture of a life that's not only successful, but also deeply fulfilling. As we wrap up our journey today, let's talk about maintaining momentum. It's one thing to start anew, to reset your compass, restart your engine, or refocus your lens. But it's another to keep that energy flowing, to keep pushing forward even when the initial spark has dimmed. This, my friends, is where the true challenge lies, and also where the most rewarding part of our journey begins. Remember, every great story you've ever heard, every inspiring journey you've admired, didn't just happen overnight. They were built on consistency, perseverance, and a steadfast commitment to the end goal. And here's where the Stoic principle of endurance, or what they call hippomone, comes into play. It's about enduring the long march, sticking to your path even when it's steep and fraught with obstacles. Think about the last time you started something new. Maybe it was a fitness regimen, a business venture, or a personal project. The beginning was likely exciting, filled with energy and grand visions of success. But as time went on, perhaps the enthusiasm waned. Maybe obstacles appeared that you hadn't anticipated. This is natural. It's a part of any worthwhile endeavor. But the key to success? It isn't just starting strong. It's about continuing strong. So how do we maintain this momentum? First, by setting small, incremental goals. Break down your big, audacious goals into smaller, manageable tasks. Each small victory keeps your spirits high and your focus sharp. It's like climbing a mountain, one step at a time, one breath at a time, and before you know it, you'll look back and marvel at how high you've climbed. Another vital tool for maintaining momentum is reflection. Regularly take stock of your progress. What have you learned? What would you do differently? What can you celebrate? Reflecting isn't just about patting yourself on the back. It's about learning and adjusting your strategy as you go. It's about being honest with yourself and addressing the gaps without judgment. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you paused to appreciate how far you've come? Often, we are our own harshest critics, and in the rush to achieve more, we forget to acknowledge our achievements. Yet, Stoicism teaches us the importance of gratitude, not just for others, but for our own efforts and progress. Gratitude not only brightens our outlook, but also fortifies our will to persevere. And speaking of perseverance, remember to lean on your support network. Share your journey, seek advice, and offer support to others in return. Momentum is easier to maintain when you know you're not alone, when you have people cheering for you, waiting at the finish line and running alongside you. Ever heard the saying, "Don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm"? It's a powerful reminder, connected to ancient Stoic wisdom, about the importance of balancing kindness with self-care. Yet, in today's rush to be seen as good, to always be the one who gives, many have twisted the noble act of kindness into a self-destructive habit. We are often told to go above and beyond, to push our limits for the sake of others. But at what cost? The truth is, too much kindness, when it drains your own resources, energy, and well-being, is not a virtue, but a path to ruin. Many have lost their way, giving so much of themselves that they're left feeling empty, unappreciated, and burned out. It's a modern-day tragedy, where the best of intentions lead to the worst of outcomes. Stoicism shows us another way, a way to be generous without losing oneself, a way to be kind, but also kind to oneself. It teaches us the art of balanced generosity, ensuring our actions enrich others' lives, while also safeguarding our own well-being. In this video, we'll unveil how Stoic principles can help you set healthy boundaries so your kindness becomes a source of strength, not depletion. We'll explore how to give without losing, love without hurting, and be there for others without disappearing from our own lives. Stay with us as we navigate the fine line between generosity and self-preservation, guided by the wisdom of Stoicism. 1. Don't set yourself on fire to warm others. Too much kindness can become a trap, one that Marcus Aurelius, a wise Stoic philosopher, would caution us against. Imagine yourself as someone who always rushes to help others, never saying no. It's like giving out pieces of yourself until there's nothing left. You become the person who's always there for others, but when you look around, you find yourself standing alone in your time of need. It's not just about being kind, it's about being kind to yourself as well. Marcus would remind us that our first duty is to our own well-being. Without it, we can't genuinely be there for others. Consider the story of two neighboring gardeners, one who meticulously cared for their own garden, and another who, despite having their own plot, frequently tended to everyone else's gardens. The diligent gardener, understanding the importance of self-care, nurtured their garden with the right balance of attention and resources, resulting in a vibrant and flourishing space. This gardener's plot was not only a source of personal joy, but also provided surplus produce to share with neighbors. On the other hand, the disproportionately giving gardener spent so much time and effort on others' gardens that their own plot became neglected. Without proper care, their garden wilted and the yields were meager. In their quest to be helpful, they overlooked their own needs, leaving their garden, and metaphorically, themselves depleted. Let this be a reminder to reflect before diving headfirst into helping others. Ask yourself, is this help sustainable? Am I preserving my well-being? The ancient Stoics would encourage us to practice Stoicism by setting healthy boundaries and ensuring that, in our quest to be kind, we do not forget to be kind to ourselves. After all, you can't pour from an empty cup. In Stoicism, the aim is to maintain your inner peace and integrity while contributing positively to the lives of others, ensuring a balanced and fulfilling life for both you and those you wish to help. 2. Reciprocity has an expiration date. Generosity is a virtue that enriches our lives and those around us, yet it harbors a subtle trap when done without moderation. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy still echoing wisdom in our modern hustle, teaches us a critical lesson about the limits of kindness. Offering help with an open heart is noble, but expecting the same measure of generosity in return can lead us down a path of disappointment. Life has a way of showing us that the good we do today might not be remembered tomorrow. This isn't a reflection of our worth or the value of our deeds. but a natural drift of human memory and gratitude. Consider the act of giving as planting a tree. You nurture it, hoping it will grow and perhaps one day offer shade or fruit. But nature has its course. Storms, droughts, and seasons change. Similarly, when we extend kindness, we must detach from the expectation of a direct return. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, advise us to focus on our actions, not their outcomes. Some things are within our control, and some things are not, he stated, reminding us that the joy of giving should come from the act itself, not from the anticipation of repayment. Embracing this mindset shields us from the sting of unmet expectations. It teaches us emotional resilience, allowing us to continue being kind and generous without feeling depleted or taken advantage of. This doesn't mean we should harden our hearts, but rather that we should find balance. Recognize the impact of your kindness as a reflection of your character, not a transaction. By doing so, we not only protect our peace of mind, but also cultivate a form of generosity that is pure, self-sustaining, and genuinely fulfilling. This Stoic principle encourages us to give freely but wisely, ensuring our kindness enriches us, regardless of how the world responds. In your daily interactions, how can you apply the principle of giving without expectation? Think about a specific scenario where you can offer kindness or support without seeking anything in return. Consider the practical steps you might take to ensure your generosity remains a source of personal fulfillment rather than depletion. 3. Received requests have no limits. Reflecting on history, it's fascinating to observe the extreme services royalty demanded, from dressing to personal hygiene, all performed by attendants. Fast forward to today, and it's clear that people still have expectations of us, often asking for favors they could easily handle themselves. Stoicism shines a light on this, teaching us the value of setting boundaries and embracing moderation. This ancient philosophy serves as a beacon, guiding us through the sea of endless requests, enabling us to act with intention and preserve our emotional well-being. It isn't about denying help, but about finding balance, ensuring we don't lose ourselves while supporting others. Take, for instance, the poignant tale of a mother and her adult daughter in a quaint town. The mother, out of love, cared for her daughter to the point of preventing her from embracing her responsibilities. This dynamic continued until the mother's untimely demise, which surprisingly catalyzed the daughter's independence. This story underlines a crucial lesson. While our intentions may be pure, excessive support can inadvertently stifle growth. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, encapsulated this wisdom in his meditation. A man's job is to stand upright, not to be kept upright by others. This insight urges us to encourage self-reliance, fostering a balance that benefits everyone involved. Seneca, with his profound insights into human connections, observed, "He who begins to be your friend because of the benefit will also cease because of the benefit." This serves as a powerful reminder to nurture relationships based on genuine connections rather than transactional interactions. True friendship and support should not hinge on what we can offer, but on mutual respect and understanding. Stoicism teaches us to value ourselves not for what we can give, but for who we are, cultivating self-esteem and authentic connections. Stoicism empowers us to embrace moderation, setting boundaries to protect our well-being while still extending genuine support to others. By prioritizing our responsibilities and honoring our needs, we not only preserve our authenticity, but also engage in more meaningful acts of generosity. This balanced approach to life and relationships ensures that we remain true to ourselves and our values, leading a life of virtue and fulfillment. As we navigate the demands of modern life, let us remember that being mindful of our own needs is not selfishness, but a necessary act of self-care. 4. Being seen and treated as fragile. Stoicism teaches us a powerful lesson about inner resilience and self-command. It's about building a fortress within, honing the art of self-restraint, and drawing clear lines in the sand that define our personal space. Over time, constantly bending over backward for others can ironically lead to being perceived as weak. Without firm boundaries, we become exposed, easily exploited by those who see our generosity not as a strength, but as an opening to take advantage of. This cycle of overextension and exploitation drains us, leaving us feeling undervalued and overburdened. Yet the moment we start to assertively say no, a shift occurs. We're no longer the go-to for every request or demand. This assertiveness broadcasts a newfound respect for ourselves, signaling to others that we value our time and energy, warranting their respect in return. Cicero, the luminary in Stoic philosophy, encapsulated this when he asserted, "What you think of yourself is much more important than what others think of you." By setting boundaries and exercising self-discipline, we not only protect our mental and emotional well-being, but also command respect from those around us. Remember, the power of no is transformative. It's a declaration of self-worth and a testament to the respect you demand from the world. Embrace this mantra and watch as it reshapes the dynamics of your relationships, fostering mutual respect grounded in dignity and self-value. However, embodying this change isn't without its challenges. Being universally available often attracts those seeking aid, sidelining you when the time for celebration comes. It's a harsh reality where your open-heartedness might lead to exclusion from moments of joy, confined to the role of the helper, absent in times of leisure. This realization, though bitter, serves as a litmus test for discerning genuine connections from opportunistic ones. It's an exercise in recognizing the true value of relationships, encouraging a mindful approach to whom we offer our time and energy. Did you know that the practice of setting boundaries, a core principle of not only improves our personal well-being, but also enhances the quality of our relationships? It's a curious but true aspect of human psychology. When we respect ourselves enough to say no, we often gain the respect of others. This paradoxical effect highlights the transformative power of self-respect and the importance of discernment in our connections. By embracing wisdom, we not only protect ourselves from burnout, but also cultivate relationships that are truly enriching and reciprocal. If you have learned anything of value so far, leave a thumbs up to show your support. Now, let's discuss strategies to avoid being used by others and to avoid the dangers of too much kindness. First strategy, eliminate the fear of saying no. Reflect deeply on why the word no often feels so heavy, tracing its weight back to early lessons that equated niceness with acceptance. Such lessons, deeply ingrained during our formative years, come laced with a fear of rejection, shaping a belief system that equates our worth with perpetual accommodation. Yet the philosophy of Stoicism invites us to challenge and reject these ingrained notions, advocating for a life of deliberate choice rather than one led by the undercurrents of past conditioning. As adults, we wield the autonomy to redefine our interactions, recognizing that the fears instilled in us as children no longer hold sway. Through the lens of Stoicism, we're equipped with the mental tools to analyze our emotions, allowing us to respond to life's demands with thoughtfulness rather than being puppeteered by past habits. Asserting boundaries by saying no, especially when requests encroach upon our well-being or sense of fairness, becomes not just an act of defiance against outdated fears, but a profound exercise in self-respect and autonomy. However, it's crucial to balance our newfound assertiveness with empathy and emotional intelligence. Stoicism doesn't merely advocate for self-interest or isolation, but stresses the importance of contributing positively to our community and the lives of those around us. The philosophy encourages us to find a middle ground where we can offer help and support to others without compromising our well-being. This is where emotional intelligence comes into play, allowing us to discern when and how to help in a manner that is both beneficial to others and sustainable for us. Recognizing the genuine needs of others while also being mindful of our own limits is a testament to true wisdom. It ensures that our acts of kindness are not only acts of self-discipline, but also of compassion and understanding, fostering a society where mutual respect and support thrive. Second strategy, pay attention to your feelings. Embracing Stoicism nudges us toward introspection and mindfulness, guiding us to scrutinize our thoughts and emotions while fostering mental resilience. This ancient wisdom encourages us to become custodians of our inner peace by observing our reactions and feelings, especially in acts of generosity. It teaches us that true fulfillment in assisting others should elevate us, akin to the buoyancy of clouds. Conversely, feelings of exhaustion, irritation, or exploitation signal a need to recalibrate. It's essential to recognize when our contributions, though not obligatory, begin to erode our serenity. Acknowledging this discomfort is not self-deception, but a courageous act of self-care, ensuring that our benevolence remains a source of joy rather than a drain on our spirit. Third strategy: see yourself as a priority. It's easy to become a maestro in the most obscure fields, yet completely overlook our own well-being. Echoing the Stoic virtues of discipline and self-esteem, carving out moments for self-care is non-negotiable. Stoicism, after all, nurtures the soul, teaching us the art of self-preservation. So, sidestep self-neglect, nurture your physical, emotional, and mental health, and acknowledge your presence. Elevate your needs. This approach demands your full commitment. Embrace your entirety. Forgive your past missteps, and view the unfolding year as a canvas for Stoic renewal. Select an endeavor solely for your pleasure, honoring this time as a testament to self-love. Uphold your boundaries without guilt in declining others if demands encroach on your sanctuary. Offer assistance within your constraints, underscoring that your personal revival takes precedence. Fourth strategy: identify the takers. Embracing Stoic virtues like self-discipline and discernment empowers us to distinguish relationships that enrich us from those that deplete our spirit. Engaging with individuals who perpetually demand more creates dependency and depletes our ability to preserve and deploy our time effectively. Be it in terms of attention, time, or resources, mirrors a dynamic where we, the nurturers, are left exhausted, our energy sapped by the insatiable. Stoicism teaches us the value of inner fortitude, reminding us that change is a door only one can unlock for oneself. Believing we can transform others through sheer goodwill is a fallacy. True transformation is a personal journey, ignited by individual willpower, not external interventions. This philosophy doesn't advocate for cold-heartedness, but champions a balanced approach to relationships. It's a dance of give and take, where excessive generosity can leave us barren, while stinginess isolates us. Stoicism encourages us to harness our capacity for kindness and generosity, yet also to wield the sword of discernment, cutting ties when necessary for our well-being. It's about finding equilibrium, ensuring our acts of kindness are not at the expense of our own vitality. Remember, the strongest relationships are those where both parties grow, not where one withers so the other can bloom. Stoicism invites us to strike a balance, compelling us to carefully evaluate our actions and their impacts. It emphasizes the importance of maintaining equilibrium in our generosity, urging us not to exhaust our resources to the detriment of our primary objective, living a fulfilling life. Conversely, it warns against being overly cautious in our giving, suggesting instead that we use our generosity wisely. Seneca, a luminary of Stoic thought, captures this ethos perfectly. Kindness is a treasure. A benefit should be kept like a buried treasure, to be unearthed only in case of necessity. His words encourage us to be prepared to act benevolently towards others, acknowledging the deep bond that connects all humans. We recommend watching our video on how to become happy in 2025. What resonated with you most in today's discussion? Let us know in the comments. If this message was valuable to you and you're curious to learn more about how Stoicism can enhance your life, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support is crucial in helping us share knowledge and continue creating content that resonates with you. Together, let's build a community of curious minds eager to learn and grow. Did you know that the majority of walk through life feeling like we're not in control of our destiny? It's a common experience, feeling like you're being pushed along by circumstances, by other people's expectations, or even by your own fears and doubts. But here's a powerful thought from Stoic philosophy that might just change the way you see everything. You have power over your mind, not outside solemnity. Realize this and you will find strength. It's Marcus Aurelius reminding us that true power comes from within. Today, we're diving deep into the 6 rules to win in life, inspired by the resilience and wisdom of Stoic philosophy. These aren't just tips, they are transformational ways of thinking that can lead you to a life of real achievement and emotional strength. If you find value in what we're discussing here, do me a simple, free favor. Hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you might think. And stick with me, because each rule we're going to explore could be the key to unlocking a new chapter in your life. Whether you're looking for a complete turnaround or just a few tweaks to better align with your core values, today's episode is laid for you. Let's explore these ancient truths that continue to resonate so powerfully in our modern lives. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a new beginning. You look back and see your past mistakes made, opportunities missed, and the echo of what could have been ringing loud. But here's the thing. That past doesn't have the power to dictate your future unless you let it. This is where believing in your power to change creates a new chapter. And it's foundational to Stoic philosophy, which teaches us that we are in control of our perceptions and reactions. The Stoics, like epistemics, believe that our minds have the incredible power to shape our experiences and realities. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you embrace this mindset, you start seeing yourself as the powerful creator of your own life, not just a passive participant. You have the ability to sculpt your future, thought by thought, action. So, how do you start believing in your power to change? It begins with understanding that your mental and emotional muscles are just like physical ones. The more you use them, the stronger they become. Every moment you choose patience over frustration, positivity over negativity, action over procrastination, you are exercising those muscles. It's about making small, consistent choices that steer your life in a direction aligned with your deepest values. Exercise faith. You are exercising passion. You are exercising faith. Believing in your power to change also means stepping out of your comfort zone. The Stoics weren't about living a life of comfort. They were about living a life of moral virtue and personal accelerance. They challenged themselves to grow from every situation, especially the challenging ones. Marcus Aurelius viewed obstacles as opportunities. To him, what stood in the way became the way. When you start viewing your challenges through this lens, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone towards personal growth and resilience. Moreover, cultivating this belief requires you to look critically at the narratives you tell yourself. Are they narratives of empowerment or self-doubt? Start rewriting those stories. If you've always told yourself, "I'm not good at public speaking," start telling yourself, "I am improving at public speaking every day." Words have power, and by changing your words, you begin to change your reality. This belief in change is not just about personal affirmations, it's deeply practical. It involves setting clear, achievable goals and breaking them down into steps that feel manageable. It's about progress, not perfection. Celebrate each small victory along the way. These build up, reinforcing your belief in your ability to change and pushing you toward longer success. Stoicism also teaches the importance of reflecting on your day. Take a moment each evening to think about what went well and what could have gone better. This practice, known as the daily Stoic reflection, helps you become more mindful of your ability to influence your actions and reactions. It encourages a mindset of continuous improvement and adaptation, which is essential for personal growth. In embracing your power to change, remember that patience is your ollie. Change doesn't happen overnight. Just like the Stoics, you must be steadfast in your efforts, resilient in your setbacks, and always willing to learn from each experience. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward transforming your life. Believing in your power to change is ultimately about taking responsibility for your life. It's about making a conscious decision to not be defined by external circumstances, but by how you respond to them. It's a commitment to stop being an actor in someone else's script and start writing your own. So take that pen, face that blank page, and start crafting a story you'll be proud to live. One decision, one belief, one action at a time. Life isn't always going to hand you easy wins. Sometimes it feels like it's just pilling on one challenge after another. But here's the scoop. The tough times, they're your secret weapon. It's in these moments, right in the thick of struggle, that the core of who you are is forged. Stoicism, a philosophy built on resilience and inner strength, teaches us just that. The Stoics saw every hardship as a chance to practice virtues like courage, perseverance, and adaptability. They didn't just endure struggles, they welcomed them as opportunities to grow stronger. When you start to embrace your struggles, you shift from feeling victimized by your circumstances to becoming a proactive partisan in your own life. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned. Maybe you lost a job, endured a tough breakup, or faced a health scare. Initially, it might have felt like the world was caving in, but upon reflection, you lately found that you gained something invaluable from each experience. Maybe it was a lesson in self-reliance, a clearer understanding of what you truly value, or the realization of your own resilience. Each struggle has the potential to teach us something profound. Embracing struggles also means maintaining a level head when things seem out of control. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Just like a diamond emerging brilliant and strong from pressure, our characters are shaped and perfected through the challenges we face. This perspective encourages you not only to survive tough times, but to thrive because of them. But how do you practically embrace struggle? Start by resetting your mindset. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this teaching me?" Every challenge comes with a lesson, and finding that lesson can transform a negative situation into a powerful catalyst for personal development. It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity and fear to one of growth and opportunity. Additionally, embracing struggles involves staying present during tough times. It's easy to dwell on past misfortunes or worry about future difficulties. But Stoicism teaches the value of living in the present moment. This doesn't mean ignoring the past or future, but it does mean focusing on what you can control right here and right now. Often that means taking actionable steps to mitigate a problem, leaning into supportive relationships, or even just maintaining your mental composure. Building resilience is another practical approach to embracing struggle. Resilience doesn't mean you won't feel the pressure. It means you're equipped to bounce back from setbacks. You can build resilience by setting small, manageable goals, maintaining a routine that includes time for self-care, and continuously learning from each experience. Over time, what once seemed like insurmountable challenges will start to feel manageable. Even welcome tests of your growing strength. Lastly, share your journey. Connecting with others about your struggles and how you're working through them can be incredibly empowering. It not only helps you process what you're going through, but also inspires others who might be facing their own battles. Remember, embracing your struggles doesn't have to be a solitary journey. In true Stoic fashion, leverage your community for support, wisdom, and a little extra strength when needed. You know that feeling when you're around people who just get you, where the conversation flows, the ideas bounce back and forth, and you leave feeling energized rather than drained? That's no accident. The company we keep doesn't just influence our mood, it shapes our entire journey through life. It's crucial then to be intentional about whom we choose to spend our time with. Because, as the Stoics would remind us, our character is molded by our environment. Stoicism teaches us that personal growth and success are not solely the product of our own thoughts and actions, but also the influence of those we surround ourselves with. Seneca wrote extensively about the importance of friendship and its impact on our moral and ethical development. He suggested that we form bonds with those who embody the qualities we aspire to have ourselves, because habits, good and bad alike, are contagious. Consider this. If you're on a path to self-improvement, whether it's pursuing a new career, developing healthier habits, or cultivating a more positive mindset, Having friends who not only support these goals but are also on similar journeys themselves can make all the difference. They aren't just cheerleaders. They understand your struggles, share insights, and inspire you just by being examples of what's possible. It's also about more than just mutual interests or goals. Surrounding yourself with the right people means seeking out those who challenge you in constructive ways. A true friend doesn't just pat you on the back. They challenge you to grow, to think differently, and to push beyond your perceived limits. In the context of Stoicism, this means engaging with people who question your assumptions and help you refine your reasoning and virtues. These interactions are invaluable because they force you to defend your ideas or consider new perspectives, leading to deeper understanding and personal growth. But let's be real, this isn't about creating an echo chamber. It's about cultivating a diverse network that enriches your life. It's about finding people who bring different perspectives, skills, and experiences to the table. Diversity in your circle encourages creativity and helps you see the world through multiple lenses, which is essential for developing a well-running character. Now, how do you find these right people? Start by being the kind of person you want to attract. Exhibit the qualities that you value in others: integrity, kindness, resilience, and curiosity. Show up as someone who adds value, who listens, and who cares. Then, look for those traits in others. Attend events that line with your interests. Join clubs or groups that reflect your values, and reach out to individuals who inspire you. Moreover, don't forget to prune your social circle when necessary. Stoicism doesn't just teach acceptance, it teaches discernment. It's okay to distance yourself from those who consistently drain your energy or detract from your growth. This isn't about being harsh or judgmental, it's about protecting your space and investing your time wisely. Remember, it's your right and responsibility to protect your peace and prioritize relationships that are truly reciprocal and beneficial. Let's face it, we all have those days when we're just not feeling it, whether it's hitting the gym, tackling that project, or even just getting out of bed. But here's where the real game changer comes in: staying the course even when the spark isn't there. Consistency isn't about having a constant rush of motivation, it's about commitment. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers, and it's deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Stoicism teaches us about the importance of discipline and perseverance. For Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, life was about doing the work that needs to be done, regardless of how one feels about it. He famously wrote in his meditations about the necessity of getting out of bed, waking up with purpose, despite his personal reluctance. This practice of consistency isn't just about productivity, it's a form of ethical living. By staying committed to our goals, we line our actions with our values, creating a harmonious and meaningful life. So, how do we cultivate this kind of consistency? First, it begins with setting clear intentions. Know what you want to achieve and why it's important to you. This clarity will be your anchor on days when motivation wanes. Once your goals are set, break them down into manageable tasks. The idea is to create a routine that supports your ambitions, turning productive actions into daily habits. Over time, these habits build on each other, compounding into significant progress. It's also crucial to develop a mindset that embraces the mundane aspects of any journey. Stoicism doesn't glamorize the path to success. Instead, it allows us that much of life is about handling the ordinary with grace and commitment. Every small, consistent action is a building block for longer achievements. Whether it's writing a single page each day, practicing a musical instrument, or dedicating regular time to study, these aren't just tasks, they are stepping stones to mastery. Embracing the philosophy of amor fati, a love of fate, is another Stoic principle that can enhance your ability to stay consistent. This concept teaches us to love everything that happens, including the challenges and the seemingly repetitive or boring tasks. By learning to love the process, not just the outcomes, we find value in the persistence itself. This shift in perspective can transform our approach to daily tasks, turning them from chores into choices that define us. Of course, staying consistent is easier said than done. It requires you to keep pushing even when you see no immediate results. It's like planting a tree. You water it daily, not because you expect it to bear fruit overnight, but because you know that each drop contributes to its growth. Patience and persistence are key, and when you falter, as we all do, it's important to be kind to yourself. Reflect on what led to the lapse and how you can prevent it in the future, but don't dwell. Each day offers a new start, a fresh opportunity to reaffirm your commitment. Finally, accountability can play a significant role in maintaining consistency. Share your goals with a friend, join a group with similar interests, or keep a progress journal. These tools not only keep you accountable, but also provide support and encouragement along the way. Ever noticed how some of the best stories start with a stumble? Think about it, every hero faces their share of defeats before they save the day. It's not the setbacks that define them, but how they bounce back. That's not just a formula for good storytelling, it's a powerful lesson in life. Learning from failures isn't about glossing over them or pretending they don't sting. It's about mining them for insights and turning them into stepping stones. And this is where Stoic philosophy really shines, offering a timeless framework for turning adversity into advantage. Stoicism teaches us that every obstacle is an opportunity to practice some virtue: patience, courage, humility, resourcefulness. For Stoics like Epictetus, it was not the events themselves but our responses to them that mattered most. This perspective shifts how we view failures, from being endpoints to being part of the learning curve. Deaths are feedback, and feedback is the breakfast of champions. It tells you where the gaps are, what needs improvement, and how to refine your strategies. By embracing this mindset, you're not just recovering from a fall, you're preparing to leap. Think about the last time something didn't go according to plan in your life. Maybe a job interview went sideways, or a project you were passionate about didn't pan out. It's natural to feel a rush of disappointment, maybe even a bit of embarrassment. But once the dust settles, that's your moment to turn the spotlight on what went wrong. Dive deep. Were there warning signs you overlooked? Skills you might have underestimated the importance of? Mystics in communication, each of these elements holds a clue, a lesson that's tailor-made to help you grow. But it's not just about dissecting what went wrong, it's also about appreciating what this failure teaches about resilience and adaptability. Marcus Aurelius Obari often wrote about the impermanence of troubles and the resilience of the human spirit. He advised to meet challenges with dignity and to always be prepared to accept and adapt to our circumstances. When you learn from your failures, you're essentially training yourself to be more resilient. You're building a toolkit that equips you to handle future challenges with greater skill and confidence. Learning from failure also means learning to let go of fear. Often, it's not the failure itself that holds us back, but our fear of failing again. Here, too, Stoicism offers valuable advice. Focus on what's within your control. You can't change the past, but you can influence the future. You can decide how to react, what to learn, and what actions to take next. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, use it as fuel. Convert anxiety into action, and let your failures teach you how to be fearless. And remember, you're not in this alone. Share your experiences, the good and the bad. When you open up about your failures, you do two things. You normalize the learning process for everyone around you, and you allow others to learn from your experience as well. This not only strengthens your connections, but also builds a culture where failure is seen not as a source of shame, but as a common ground for growth. Life's like being in the driver's seat of a car on a vast, sprawling highway. You can stick to a familiar route, or you can turn off onto roads less traveled and explore new territories. The choice is yours, but remember, the journey doesn't stop unless you decide to pull over. Staying curious, hungry for knowledge, and open to change. These are the fuels that keep your engine running and your journey exciting. Embracing a mindset of constantly learning and self-improvement, which advocates for a life of constant learning and self-improvement, stick. Stoicism isn't just about enduring life's challenges, it's about thriving through them by continuously adapting and growing. Consider the words of Seneca, who urged us to be a student always. He means staying in school forever. He means maintaining the mindset of a learner throughout your life. No matter your age, career, or stage in life, there's always something new to discover, and every experience offers a lesson to be learned. To never stop evolving means to make a conscious effort to push beyond your current boundaries. It's about setting new goals once old ones are met, and seeking challenges that stretch your abilities and force you to grow. It's also about reflecting on your personal and professional life regularly, identifying areas for improvement, and taking deliberate steps to address them. This kind of introspection and proactive change aligns closely with the Stoic practice of self-examination and discipline. Moreover, embracing change and seeking growth also involves cultivating adaptability, a trait highly regarded in Stoic teachings. Just like a tree that bends with the wind but doesn't break, being adaptable in the face of life's constant changes helps you not only to survive, but to thrive. It means not getting too attached to current successes or ways of doing things. Markets change, new technologies evolve, and by staying flexible, you remain relevant and vibrant. Part of never stopping your evolution is also about opening yourself up to new ideas and perspectives. It's easy to become comfortable with what you know and whom you know, but growth often lies in the unfamiliar. Listen to others, especially those who might see the world differently. Engage with content that challenges your existing beliefs and consider it thoughtfully. This practice not only broadens your understanding, but also deepens your capacity for empathy and connection. Stories also emphasize the role of community and personal growth. By surrounding yourself with people who are also committed to personal and professional growth, you create an environment that is conducive to continuous evolution. These relationships can provide motivation, insight, and feedback that are essential for personal development. They act like mirrors, reflecting your strengths and ideas that can catalyze your growth. Lastly, never stopping your evolution means embracing lifelong learning in its many forms. Whether through formal education, reading, travel, or engaging in new skills not only keeps your brain sharp, but also opens up new opportunities and ways of seeing the world. It helps keep life fresh and exciting. During that, you're not just passing through life, but actively engaging with it in meaningful ways. What is the secret to greatness? I can tell you what it's not. It's not doing nothing. It's not waiting around for a lottery ticket. It's definitely not blaming the world, because blaming the world won't change anything. So what is it? We're going to explain that secret in this video in 5 steps that you can follow right at home. But we didn't discover this. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics did. What they invented and developed was so powerful that it made believers of people as different as Roman emperors and slaves. The world may have changed since then, but the psychological truths that push people to greatness have not. Now, I can't tell you what it takes to achieve greatness in 30 seconds. That's what this video is for. But I can give you a summary of what they found. Our power doesn't lie in controlling the things that happen. It can't, because we can't. Our power lies in mastering our response to the things that happen to us and the circumstances that we can change. And if you can learn to do that, you have solved the problem. Greatness is yours. But not me. It won't work for me. I can hear some of you saying, things never work out for me. My situation is different. I'm here to tell you that it will work for you. If you try. I'm going to give you a plan that will get you there, and here it is in outline form. First, you must focus. Second, you must change your thoughts to change your reality. Third, you must work to achieve a flow state in your life. Fourth, you must act according to your values. Fifth, you must make the world your arena. The most important of these is the first one. Focus. Above all and above everything else, you must focus. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." What this means is that when we spread our attention across too many things simultaneously, we aren't present or effective with any of them. Seneca is warning us that multitasking and constant distraction prevent deep engagement. It was true in his time, and it's true in ours. In modern life, when our attention jumps between emails, social media, work tasks, and conversations, we experience only the surface of each without making a meaningful impact. True effectiveness comes from being fully present with one thing at a time. A mind that tries to be everywhere, attending to many tasks at once, ends up being nowhere, not fully engaged with anything. This connects with modern research showing that multitasking reduces cognitive performance and depth of thought. Seneca, in other words, recognized that scattered attention leads to scattered results. You may appear busy, but you accomplish little of significance, and what matters in the world we live in is results. The Stoic approach values depth over breadth, because that's what gets results. Computer science professor Cal Newport calls the ability to focus without distraction deep work, defining it as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit. This modern concept mirrors what the Stoics practiced as mental discipline. While Newport's research demonstrates that deep work is profitable in today's economy, the Stoics would argue it's always been essential for a well-lived life. The evidence against multitasking keeps building. Research from Stanford University shows that heavy multitaskers perform worse on cognitive control tests and struggle more with filtering relevant information. Each time we switch tasks, we pay what Newport calls an attention residue tax. Up to 40% of our productive capacity is lost in transitions. So it follows that if you stay focused, you'll be up to 40% more effective. How can we reclaim our focus in a world designed to fragment it? Here are practical techniques you can follow to do deep work. Begin with morning intention setting, a practice Marcus Aurelius followed religiously. Before emails and notifications, decide what deserves your deepest attention today. Create distraction-free environments by eliminating what Newport calls shallow work triggers. Silence notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and establish boundaries before you begin to save time. Practice mindful transitions between activities. Rather than immediately jumping between tasks, pause briefly to reset your attention, what Epictetus might call preparing the mind for the work at hand. By preparing yourself in this way, you'll set yourself up for success. True greatness in work and character emerges from the discipline of focused attention. But focus alone isn't enough. Once you've mastered your attention, you must direct it toward the right thoughts. This brings us to our second principle, changing your thoughts to change your reality. The Stoics understood that our perceptions shape our experience more profoundly than external circumstances. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This insight, that we can transform our reality by transforming our thinking, forms the foundation of what we call cognitive behavioral stoicism, the deliberate practice of regulating your thoughts to improve your life. The practice is straightforward. Whenever you enter a thought spiral, apply the Stoic test. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, practice acceptance. If it's yes, channel your energy toward constructive action instead of rumination. There's a modern psychological technique with a similar orientation called CBT, short for cognitive behavioral therapy. It's a psychotherapy approach that focuses on identifying and changing unhelpful thinking patterns and behaviors. The premise of CBT is that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected, meaning that negative patterns in any of these areas can create and maintain psychological distress. To fix ourselves, we must fix those patterns by focusing on them. CBT helps people develop more helpful ways of thinking and behaving. Here's an example. When something bad happens, most people fall into destructive thought patterns. This always happens to me. Everything is ruined. I can't handle this. The Stoics recognized these as false impressions, judgments that we add to neutral events. If we add them, that means we can also stop adding them. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. Consider how differently your day unfolds when you view challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. This creates a feedback loop of empowerment. When you reframe negative thoughts, your emotional responses shift, your actions become more effective, your outcomes improve. Modern cognitive behavioral Stoicism has rediscovered what the Stoics knew. We can question our automatic thoughts and choose more rational interpretations. When we do this, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and expand our potential. When we are at our maximum potential, we tend to be in a state of flow, and that leads us to our third principle. You learn to creating the conditions to achieve that flow state. The Stoics understood that true productivity comes from deep and purposeful engagement. This ancient wisdom is backed up by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's concept of flow, that optimal state where we're so immersed in a challenging activity that time seems to disappear. Flow represents the perfect balance between skill and challenge. When a task is too difficult, we feel anxiety. When it's too easy, we experience boredom. But in that sweet spot, where our abilities are stretched but not overwhelmed, we achieve a state the Stoics would recognize as ideal functioning. Seneca's advice to be present where you are anticipates Csikszentmihalyi's research by millennia. Both recognize that divided attention prevents the deep engagement necessary for excellence. Modern research confirms this ancient insight. Flow states correlate with peak performance in everything from athletics to artistic creation. The Stoic discipline of focusing solely on what's in your control is echoed by a key prerequisite for flow: clear goals with immediate feedback. By eliminating distractions, we create the conditions for flow to emerge. Epictetus taught that we should approach each task as if it were our last, bringing full attention to the present moment. This Stoic principle of mindful presence is exactly what Csikszentmihalyi observed in people experiencing flow. Complete absorption in the activity itself, not the results. To cultivate flow in your life, identify your flow triggers, those activities where you lose track of time. Structure your environment to eliminate distractions during these periods. Set clear goals with measurable progress markers. Practice the Stoic technique of premeditatio malorum, anticipating challenges to prepare for potential obstacles before you begin. The Stoics knew that meaningful accomplishment comes not from scattered effort but from focused mastery. In flow theory, we find scientific validation of this ancient idea. Our greatest satisfaction comes when we are fully engaged in meaningful challenges that stretch our capabilities. But what should guide these challenges? What direction should our focused energy take? This brings us to our fourth principle. You must act according to your values. The Stoics believed that true greatness arises from how we live our lives. This is the essence of values-based living, aligning your actions with your highest principles, no matter the circumstance. What matters most is how well you walk through the fire. As the writer Charles Bukowski put it, fortune is fickle, but character is enduring. When you act according to your values rather than impulse or external pressure, you build an unshakable foundation. At the heart of Stoic ethics are the four cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, temperance. Wisdom means practical judgment, knowing what to do, when to do it, and why it matters. It's distinguishing between what you can and cannot control, then focusing your energy accordingly. Wisdom is learning from every experience, especially failures, which the Stoics saw as powerful teachers. Courage means facing challenges without being paralyzed by fear. Not fearlessness, but acting despite fear when values demand it. As Seneca noted, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. This virtue enables you to bear hardship and to speak the truth, even when silence would be easier. Justice extends beyond legality to treating others with fairness and respect. It recognizes our shared humanity and responsibilities to one another. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this interconnection. What benefits the hive benefits the bee. Justice is seeing that your well-being is shared with others. Temperance is balanced self-discipline, not indulgence, but also not denial. It means moderation. It's mastering your desires rather than being mastered by them. Temperance creates the space between stimulus and response, where wisdom can breathe. The path to greatness requires more than good intentions. It demands that your actions consistently reflect your values, especially when doing so is difficult. As Epictetus taught, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. This brings us to our fifth and final principle. You must make the world your arena. Making the world your arena means transforming everyday environments into spaces of practice and growth where you can succeed. And to do that, before you can do anything else, you must first get out there. You must go into the world and try. That's the idea behind the do things badly principle. It cures perfectionism paralysis. Begin by giving yourself permission to perform poorly. Write the terrible first draft. Have the awkward conversation. Attempt the imperfect workout. Excellence emerges not from planning but from iteration. As writer Anne Lamott advocates, almost all good writing begins with terrible first efforts. It's a universal principle. You begin badly, then get better. If it helps, you can use a strategy we call if-then statements. Rather than saying, I'll exercise more, commit to, when I wake up on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll put on my running shoes and jog for 20 minutes. Research by psychologist Peter Gallwitzer shows that this approach dramatically increases follow-through by linking specific situations to the behaviors you want to see. If you need more help, consider using the 5-minute rule. Commit to just 5 minutes of the challenging activity. A minimal commitment bypasses psychological resistance and helps get you started. Once begun, continuation becomes easier thanks to your momentum. 5 minutes often becomes a full session of your intended activity. When you put all these strategies together, you end up establishing practical approaches as habits. Go outside your designated spaces to make the entire world the place where you practice. That's how you get started on the path to greatness. At the top of this video, we began by asking, what is the secret to greatness? Now you know. It's not some mysterious formula reserved for the lucky few. It's a practical, proven path that anyone can follow. Let these 5 Stoic principles: focus, thought management, flow, values-based action, and making the world your arena be your framework for transformation, your path to stepping into greatness. When you master your focus, you gain the ability to direct your attention where it matters most. By changing your thoughts, you reshape your reality. Through flow, you tap into your highest potential. By acting according to your values, you build unshakable character. And by making the world your arena, you turn philosophy into practice, creating meaningful change in your life and the lives of others. Remember, greatness isn't about perfection, it's about progression. The Stoics understood that we're all works in progress. Every day presents new opportunities to apply these principles, to stumble, to learn, and to grow stronger throughout the process. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. So begin today. Start badly if you must, but start. Focus your attention on what truly matters. Challenge your limiting thoughts. Find your flow. Live your values. Make every environment you move through an arena for practicing these timeless principles. The path to greatness lies before you. Now, it's your turn to take that first step. Our greatest power lies in the ability to choose our response to life's challenges. Picture this. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, faced with unending turmoil, found peace not in control, but in acceptance. He taught that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. This ancient wisdom of Stoicism isn't just historical trivia. It's a transformative tool we can all use today. In this video, we'll uncover the art of letting things happen, exploring how embracing the flow of life rather than forcing outcomes can lead to profound peace and fulfillment. Get ready to dive into the timeless teachings of Stoicism and discover how to navigate life's unpredictability with grace and strength. If you appreciate what we're doing here, a simple favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. Don't skip any part of the video, as this journey towards inner calm and resilience might just change your life. In Stoicism, there's a strong emphasis on distinguishing between what we can and cannot control. This starts with our thoughts. The Stoics believed that while we cannot control external events, we have complete control over our minds. By focusing on our thoughts, we can navigate life's challenges with greater ease and composure. It's like building a mental armor that shields us from unnecessary worries and negative influences. When we understand this, we can start to see our thoughts not just as fleeting moments in our minds, but as powerful tools that shape our reality. Consider the impact of a single negative thought. It can spiral into a cascade of negativity, affecting our mood, our behavior, and even our health. On the other hand, a positive thought can inspire us, motivate us, and lead to actions that improve our lives and the lives of those around us. The Stoics were masters of this mental discipline. They practiced techniques like reflection and journaling to keep their thoughts in check. For example, the evening reflection was a common practice where they would spend time at the end of each day contemplating their thoughts and actions, identifying what went well and what could be improved. This practice allowed them to maintain a clear and focused mind, ready to face the next day with renewed strength. Moreover, the Stoics taught us that thoughts are not just abstract concepts, but tangible forces that can direct the course of our lives. By becoming aware of our thoughts and consciously guiding them, we can transform our experiences. This is not about suppressing negative thoughts, but rather about understanding them, challenging them, and ultimately transforming them into positive actions. It's a skill that takes practice, but can lead to profound changes in how we perceive and interact with the world. To put it into perspective, imagine two people facing the same challenging situation. One person is consumed by negative thoughts, believing that nothing they do will make a difference. They feel paralyzed and defeated. The other person, guided by positive thoughts, sees the challenge as an opportunity for growth. They think about past successes and believe in their ability to overcome the obstacle. This person is more likely to take proactive steps and ultimately succeed. The difference lies in their thoughts. Realizing the importance of thought is about recognizing that our inner dialogue shapes our reality. It's about taking control of our mental landscape and cultivating thoughts that lead to positive actions and outcomes. As Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics have shown us, this is a path to true happiness and fulfillment. So, start today by paying attention to your thoughts. Challenge the negative ones and nurture the positive ones. This simple yet profound shift can transform your life in ways you never imagined. Marcus Aurelius, a renowned Stoic, provides invaluable insights on this. He advises, "Here is a rule to remember in future. When anything tempts you to feel bitter, not, 'This is misfortune,' but, 'To bear this worthily is good fortune.'" This quote encapsulates the Stoic approach to transforming thoughts, changing our perspective on challenges and adversity. At its core, transforming your thoughts involves recognizing that our spontaneous thoughts often come with value judgments that can be misleading and harmful. These judgments are immediate and automatic, labeling experiences as good or bad, fun or boring, successful or failing. The problem is that these judgments are rarely based on the full picture and are often clouded by our emotions and biases. The Stoics teach us that our thoughts are not shaped by reality, but by our perception of it. By changing our perception, we can change our thoughts and consequently our lives. Consider how often we let a single negative thought shape our entire day. If you wake up and immediately think, "Today is going to be awful," that thought sets the tone for everything that follows. It colors your interactions, your decisions, and your overall mood. But what if you could catch that thought and transform it? Instead of, "Today is going to be awful," you could think, "Today might have challenges, but I can handle them." This simple shift can change your entire outlook and experience of the day. One of the Stoic practices for transforming thoughts is to question and challenge them. When you have a negative thought, don't just accept it as true. Reflect on it. Ask yourself if the thought is reasonable, if it is based on facts, or if it is influenced by temporary emotions. For example, after a tough meeting at work, you might think, "I'm terrible at my job." But is that thought reasonable? Was it just one difficult meeting out of many successful ones? Are you letting one experience overshadow your overall competence and achievements? Another powerful Stoic technique is reframing. Reframing involves taking a negative thought and finding a more constructive way to look at it. For instance, if you think, "I failed, and there's no point in trying again," you can reframe it to, "Failure is an opportunity to learn and improve. I can try again with more wisdom." This technique helps you see setbacks as part of the growth process rather than as final judgments on your abilities. The practice of gratitude also plays a significant role in transforming thoughts. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, from negative aspects to positive ones. When you start feeling overwhelmed by negative thoughts, take a moment to list things you're grateful for. This practice can instantly change your mood and perspective, helping you see the abundance and opportunities in your life rather than the challenges and deficiencies. Furthermore, Stoics emphasize the importance of living in accordance with nature and understanding our role within the larger context of the world. This broader perspective can help transform our thoughts by reminding us that we are part of something greater and that our individual experiences, while significant, are just one piece of the larger puzzle. It encourages us to accept what we cannot change and focus on what we can control, our thoughts and actions. In practical terms, transforming your thoughts might also involve regular journaling, a practice that many Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, engaged in. Writing down your thoughts allows you to examine them objectively, understand their origins, and decide how you want to address them. It's a way to declutter your mind and gain clarity. Learning to transform your thoughts is about recognizing the power of perception, questioning and reframing negative thoughts, practicing gratitude, and understanding your place in the larger scheme of things. By adopting these Stoic principles, you can cultivate a mindset that not only endures, but thrives in the face of life's challenges. This shift in thinking is not just a mental exercise, but a profound way to reshape your entire approach to life, leading to greater peace, resilience, and fulfillment. The term premeditatio malorum translates to premeditation of evils or anticipation of adversity, and it was a technique regularly employed by Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics to foster resilience and mental fortitude. Imagine starting each day by acknowledging that things might not go as planned. Marcus Aurelius would wake up and remind himself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." This might sound pessimistic, but it served a crucial purpose. It prepared him mentally for the inevitable frustrations and challenges of daily life. By expecting difficulties, he could approach them with calmness and equanimity when they arose, rather than being caught off guard. The idea behind premeditatio malorum is not to dwell on negative outcomes, but to mentally rehearse how you would handle them. This practice builds psychological resilience. When we visualize potential setbacks and plan our responses, we reduce the shock and emotional impact when those setbacks occur. It's similar to how athletes visualize their performance before a game. They prepare for various scenarios, which enhances their actual performance. Consider a simple analogy. Think of premeditatio malorum as a mental fire drill. Just as practicing a fire drill prepares you to act swiftly and calmly in an actual emergency, mentally rehearsing how you would handle difficulties prepares you to face real-life challenges with greater composure and effectiveness. It's about building a mental muscle that allows you to remain steady and focused under pressure. This technique is deeply rooted in the Stoic understanding of what is within our control and what is not. The Stoics believe that while we cannot control external events, we can control our reactions to them. By anticipating potential problems and deciding in advance how to respond, we take proactive control over our emotional and mental states. This aligns with the Stoic goal of achieving a tranquil mind, undisturbed by external chaos. Premeditatio malorum can be applied to various aspects of life. For instance, before a significant meeting or presentation, you might consider the possible challenges. What if the technology fails? What if you forget your main points? By thinking through these scenarios and planning your responses, you can approach the event with greater confidence and less anxiety. You've already faced these challenges in your mind, so they're less intimidating in reality. Moreover, this practice can enhance our gratitude. When we contemplate potential misfortunes, we often realize how much we take for granted. This reflection can deepen our appreciation for what we have and foster a greater sense of gratitude for the present moment. It shifts our focus from what could go wrong to what is currently going right, balancing our perspective. A practical way to incorporate premeditatio malorum into your daily routine is through journaling. Spend a few minutes each morning writing down potential challenges you might face that day and how you would ideally respond to them. This simple exercise can set a tone of preparedness and calmness for the rest of the day. Additionally, it's beneficial to periodically reflect on past adversities and how you handled them. This reflection can reveal patterns in your responses, highlight areas for improvement, and reinforce your resilience. By recognizing that you have successfully navigated challenges before, you build confidence in your ability to handle future difficulties. Practicing premeditatio malorum is about embracing the reality that life is unpredictable and often challenging. By mentally preparing for these challenges, we can face them with greater strength and serenity. This stoic practice helps us build resilience, maintain control over our emotional responses, and foster a deeper appreciation for the present. It's a powerful tool for anyone looking to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and wisdom. So, the next time you anticipate a tough day, remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and prepare your mind for the journey ahead. Marcus Aurelius emphasized this when he said, "Give yourself a gift, the present moment." This statement is a call to embrace the here and now, to fully immerse ourselves in the current moment, free from the regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future. The Stoics believe that the present moment is all we truly have. The past is unchangeable, and the future is uncertain. Dwelling too much on either robs us of the peace and clarity that come from being fully engaged with the present. When we focus on the present, we can better appreciate the world around us, the people we interact with, and the tasks we undertake. It's about finding joy and fulfillment in the here and now, rather than postponing happiness for some uncertain future. Consider the way we often get lost in our thoughts about what has already happened or what might happen. We replay past mistakes or anticipate future problems, and this mental chatter keeps us from truly experiencing life. For example, how often have you been in a conversation but found yourself thinking about what you need to do later or regretting something you said earlier? This robs you of the ability to connect genuinely with the person in front of you and to fully appreciate the interaction. Living in the present also means letting go of the need to control everything. The Stoics taught that we should accept what is outside our control and focus on what we can influence, our own thoughts and actions. This acceptance can be incredibly liberating. When we stop trying to control the uncontrollable, we reduce our stress and anxiety, allowing ourselves to be more at peace with whatever comes our way. It's about finding serenity in the midst of chaos by anchoring ourselves in the present moment. One practical way to live in the present is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing your attention to the present moment without judgment. This can be done through simple exercises like focusing on your breath, observing your surroundings, or engaging in a task with full attention. By practicing mindfulness, we train our minds to return to the present whenever they start to wander. This can greatly enhance our ability to stay focused and calm, even in stressful situations. The practice of mindfulness has been shown to have numerous benefits, including reduced stress, improved emotional regulation, and increased overall well-being. When we are mindful, we are better able to handle life's challenges with grace and resilience. We become more attuned to our thoughts and emotions, allowing us to respond rather than react impulsively. Another way to cultivate living in the present is through gratitude. Taking time each day to reflect on what we are grateful for helps shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. This practice can bring a sense of abundance and contentment. When we appreciate the small moments of joy and beauty in our daily lives, we anchor ourselves more firmly in the present. Moreover, living in the present encourages us to fully engage with our activities, no matter how mundane they may seem. The Stoics believed in doing every task, no matter how small, with excellence and attention. This means being fully present in whatever you are doing, whether it's washing the dishes, working on a project, or spending time with loved ones. By giving our full attention to our current activity, we can find satisfaction and purpose in every moment. It's also important to recognize the impact of technology on our ability to live in the present. Our constant connectivity can pull us out of the moment as we check emails, social media, and messages. Setting boundaries with technology and creating moments of disconnection can help us reclaim our presence. This might mean having device-free times, such as during meals or before bed, to fully engage with our surroundings and the people we are with. Living in the present is about embracing the here and now, letting go of past regrets and future anxieties, and focusing on what we can control, our thoughts and actions. By practicing mindfulness, gratitude, and fully engaging with our activities, we can cultivate a deeper sense of peace, fulfillment, and resilience. As Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics have shown us, the present moment is a precious gift, and learning to live in it can transform our lives. Marcus Aurelius, despite his responsibilities as a Roman emperor, took time each day to reflect on the simple privilege of being alive. He said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This profound sense of gratitude is not just about acknowledging the good things in life, but about fostering a deeper appreciation for every moment and experience. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, creating a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. It's easy to get caught up in the daily grind and overlook the small joys and blessings that surround us. By consciously practicing gratitude, we train our minds to see the positives, even in challenging situations. This doesn't mean ignoring difficulties, but rather recognizing that there is always something to be thankful for, even in the midst of adversity. One effective way to practice gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be anything from significant achievements to small everyday pleasures, like a beautiful sunset or a kind gesture from a friend. This simple exercise helps to build a habit of looking for the good in each day, reinforcing a positive outlook and fostering a sense of contentment. Expressing gratitude to others is another powerful practice. Take the time to thank the people around you, your family, friends, colleagues, even strangers who have shown you kindness. This not only strengthens your relationships, but also reinforces your awareness of the interconnectedness of your life with others. Gratitude has a ripple effect. When we express it, we often inspire others to do the same, creating a more positive and supportive environment. In the context of Stoicism, gratitude also involves accepting and appreciating the present moment as it is, without longing for what is not. This is encapsulated in the Stoic concept of amor fati, or love of fate. It's about embracing all aspects of life, including the challenges and setbacks, as part of our journey. By viewing everything that happens to us as an opportunity for growth and learning, we can cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for the entirety of our experience. Gratitude can also be a powerful antidote to negative emotions like envy and resentment. When we focus on what we have and appreciate it fully, we are less likely to feel envious of others. Envy arises from a sense of lack, but gratitude reminds us of our abundance. Similarly, resentment often stems from unmet expectations and perceived injustices. Practicing gratitude shifts our perspective, helping us to let go of these negative feelings and embrace a more positive and forgiving outlook. Moreover, gratitude has numerous psychological and physical benefits. Research has shown that people who regularly practice gratitude experience better sleep, lower stress levels, and improved mental health. Gratitude enhances our overall well-being by promoting a positive mindset and reducing the impact of negative emotions. It helps us build resilience, enabling us to bounce back from setbacks more effectively. Incorporating gratitude into your daily routine doesn't require drastic changes. It can be as simple as taking a few moments each morning to reflect on what you are thankful for, or ending your day with a gratitude meditation. This practice aligns with the Stoic tradition of reflection and mindfulness, encouraging us to live with intention and awareness. Practicing gratitude is a powerful way to enrich our lives and align with the principles of Stoicism. By focusing on what we have, expressing appreciation to others, and embracing all aspects of our experiences, we can cultivate a mindset of abundance and contentment. Gratitude helps us navigate life's challenges with grace, build stronger relationships, and enhance our overall well-being.